importance because this time around, South Dakota, a win would be an FCS win for Montana State, so it clearly counts on their overall record. Now, Montana State will face a team that comes in averaging over 36 points a game, and that's due in large part to their very fine quarterback.
Yeah, again, the Bobcats have faced so many good quarterbacks already this season, but they can add Noah Shepard to that list. The senior from Colorado comes into today's game. He's thrown 11 touchdown passes, and he's rushed for 9. But what sets him apart from the quarterbacks they've seen to date is that he has that ability to hurt you with his feet.
On the offensive side for Montana State, well, some changes at running back. Aaron Mason out this week after suffering a concussion last week, and pretty much running back by committee today for Montana State.
Yeah, you know, C.J. Palmer will get the start today, and he's pretty much been a specialty back for him the last 2 years, coming in at short yardage and goal line situations. With the absence of Mason today, he's going to have to expand that role. Look for him to get some help from Blade Beckstead.
Well, not only injuries, but the flu making its way through the Montana State football team. And Chase Gazzaro down with the flu, but we're told he will get the start this afternoon. But the big news is at quarterback, where Mark Iddens will not start today. He'll be replaced by Cody Kempt, who will get the start for the Cats on offense this afternoon. Now, for the keys to the game, let's go down on the field and join Dave Griffiths.
Chris, thanks a lot. Welcome down to a sunny Bobcat Stadium. It's in the mid-60s here today, certainly a big difference from the mid-20s that we had here last week, and I'm certainly happy about that weather change. Let's take a look at the Montana Highway Traffic Safety keys to the game. We'll start off with visiting South Dakota. First off, weather the storm. Now, it's not very sunny, not very stormy out here today, but last year, Montana State coach Rob Ash called this game against South Dakota a perfect storm in Montana State's favor. Ever since scheduling this year's game, he's been concerned about repeating that performance. Number 2 for South Dakota, sack happy. They're a team that is aggressive on defense and likes to get to the quarterback. In fact, they have the top 3 sack makers in the Great West Conference. They're led by senior Wayne Curry in that area. Lastly for South Dakota, number 3, end of 1. They're a team that likes to jump on top of teams early, and if they don't, they could get in a little bit of trouble. 6 games this year, 3 wins. All 3 of those games, they have been up after the first quarter. In their 3 losses, they've either been tied or down after the end of 1. Now to the hometown Montana State Bobcats. Their first key today, capitalize. It's something the Cats did not do last week in the red zone. 2 red zone turnovers. You got to take advantage of those opportunities. And like I was saying about South Dakota, jump on top of them early in this game. Number 2 for Montana State, establish the run. This is something that Rob Ash was stressing this week in the press conferences. He said that Blaine Beckstead, C.J. Palmer, Ricky Evans all have to have good days today because the run really sets up the pass in his offense, and they need to be able to run the ball this afternoon. Lastly, for Montana State, number 3, it's ball secured. Now, I mentioned it in the red zone turnovers. Well, last year against South Dakota, the Cats had 5 turnovers. You certainly don't want a repeat of that performance because you saw what turnovers could do last week to this team against Northern Arizona. That's it for the Montana Highway Traffic Safety keys to the game. We'll be back to Bobcat Stadium for kickoff right after this.
Dave mentioned mid-60s for this afternoon's game between South Dakota. There's the officials that will work today's game. Bruce Palmer, the referee, Lou Tosti, the umpire, and Craig Orbanowski is the head linesman. A gorgeous afternoon for football. You see the flag is still virtually no breeze at all, 63 degrees at kickoff under sunny skies here in Bozeman as Montana State looks to rebound from last week's loss to Northern Arizona, and they'll try to do it against a fast improving South Dakota football team. This is just the second meeting between the two. Of course, last year, South Dakota here, the Bobcats won it 37-19. South Dakota making the transition from a Division II program to the FCS. And by all accounts, I think probably ahead of schedule, Mike.
Yeah, Coach Ash alluded to it this week that while a lot of these guys are the same, you can see that they are just night and day from where they were on a size and a strength standpoint from last year's game. And he said this team is much improved over the last year's version.
Ed Meyercourt, the head coach for South Dakota, has done a very good job of progressing his team from the transition from Division II. They come in averaging over 400 yards of total offense, and we'll talk more about that as the game goes on. For now, Jason Cunningham, here's Coach Meyercourt, ready to get things started as he kicks it high and deep, and it comes down to Marcus Sims at the goal line. Sims bobbles the football, picks it up at the 5, Now looks for some running room and gets it up close to the 20-yard line. A good job by Marcus Sims after bobbling the ball. Let's take a look at the South Dakota offense, and it's a very good one. The big guys up front, Arthur Nordquist, Ben Wampler, the center, Brent Johnson, and Tom Compton. Meanwhile, the running back is Chris Ganius, Eric Helen, the fullback, Dustin Nowotny, Ben Oberle get the start at wideouts, London Landry, the tight end, and Noah Shepard will be the quarterback. 6'2", 215-pound senior from Thornton, Colorado. Opening drive here, South Dakota with the football. First down from the 19-yard line. Shepard back to pass, incomplete. Intended out there for Dustin Nowotny. Let's take a look now at the Bobcat defense. Fletcher, Ogden, Jason D'Alba, and John Ledette up front for the Cats. Matt Harris, Clay Bignell, and Jody Owens, the linebackers. And in the secondary, Zach Coleman, Michael Ryder, Jordan Crady, and Kevin Ritoriano. Incomplete pass brings up 2nd and 10, just underway. Opening drive for the Coyotes. Jordan Crady now up to the line of scrimmage on 2nd down. South Dakota will stay on the ground. And now trying to get out of the backfield. And now with a little bit of running room is Chris Ganius, and Ganius doing a nice job. Looked like he was going to be taken down for a loss, but then takes it all the way up to the 35-yard line into first down.
Yeah, Ganius makes a big play for that offense because they were bottled up. You could see before the snap, the Bobcat defense, this looks like something they've seen on film. They rolled the safety up on that side and really had this thing pinned up. But unfortunately for the Bobcat defense, didn't do a good enough job on that cutback lane, and Ganius is just able to make a nice play.
Ganius 443 yards coming into this afternoon's game, averaging 5.7 yards per carry. He's a good one. And they'll stay on the ground. Ganius again, and this time met behind the line of scrimmage for a loss on the play. Much better job for that front line of Montana State.
Yeah, well, guess who? When you got a tackle for loss from this Montana State defense, you got to start with number 47 and Dane Fletcher and work away from it, because that's just a nice play. But he leads the league and the Big Sky as well as the team in tackles for loss this season, and he'll add to his total there.
So a loss of 1 on the play brings up 2nd and 11 from the 33. Shepard now lines up under center, 2 receiver set. Straight back, now looks out here and fires, and that is caught and dropped. Will Powell had it for a moment at the 40, but couldn't hang on to it, and it brings up 3rd and long. We talked about the South Dakota offense, Mike, and it's very, very good. They rush for 190 yards a game, pass for 247, 438. This is the 3rd straight opponent that Montana State has faced where the opposing team has over 400 yards a game in total offense.
Yeah, again, this week a big challenge for that defense, because these guys move the ball, and not only they move the ball, but they're averaging almost 32 points a ball game, with Montana State conversely only getting about 17.4. So they've got to come up big on defense today.
4 receiver set, Bobcats show blitz, here they come. Pass is caught at the 40-yard line by Nowotny, but he's going to be taken down short of a first down, and that'll bring up 4th and 2.
Well, a good job of keeping that play in front on that secondary. Was going to be very close to first down. Bobcats brought some backers inside, so they had the man-to-man coverage on the outside. One-on-one, they were able to make the stop and get the early change of possession.
Cole Ziefelhofer back to punt for the Coyotes on 4th down. Stands just inside his 30-yard line. Deshaun Thomas back to receive. Ziefelhofer, this one off the side of his foot. It's going to hit at the 25, and Thomas will just let it bounce, and that's where the Bobcats will take over.
You can see Thomas, he's not getting a replay of last week. When that was short and bouncing around, he was getting away.
Here's the Montana State offense as they take the field. Up front, Leo Davis, Conrad Burbank, Alex Terry in the center, and those 2 veterans on the right side, Jeff Hansen and Mike Person. C.J. Palmer gets the start at running back. Receivers, Julius Lloyd, Elvis Akpla, and Albert Gilbert, and Joe Schreibeis out of Billings West, the tight end. And as we told you in the pregame, Cody Kemp getting his first start. Mark Iddens down with the flu today. Cody Kemp, the junior out of Beaverton, Oregon, started most of last year, gets the start today. So on first down, Bobcats give it to Palmer. Palmer up over the right side gets a couple. And for the South Dakota Coyotes on defense today, and they're active, they'll get after you. Go to the 3-4. Wayne Curry, Kokoy, and Abraham Booker Up front, there's the linebackers, Williams, Broders, Ruth, and Fonts. And then in the secondary, it's Bogan, Potter, Thompson, and Rice. Now some running room for Gilbert. Gilbert up over the 40 to the 45 and a first down.
Nice play for the Bobcats here. You'll see in the Northwestern Energy replay just a quick flip out here, but look at the blocks from Elvis Akpol right at the point of attack there. He's the one that created the space to allow Gilbert to get that thing upfield and move the chains for MSU.
Everett Gilbert, the true freshman from Waukwall, Texas, and gets a first down for the Cats all the way up to the 46. Here's Kemp now rolling left, fires incomplete. Nice pass and catch as they get it out there to Julius Lloyd.
Boy, I really like that play and the call from MSU. You can see here the Bobcats all year long have been dragging that tight end underneath the formation. This time you can see as he rolls out here, well, you just can't see the tight end, but they really sucked up on Schreibus there, which created the opening to get the ball to Lloyd.
Another first down as the Bobcats have moved into South Dakota territory from the 41st and 10. 11:45 to go, opening quarter. This time they'll stay on the ground, and Palmer looks for some running room, and he's met right at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the, well, maybe one on the play. We'll bring up 2nd and 9. And Rob Ash talked about this on Tuesday. He said, we're going to run 3 running backs. We're gonna start Palmer, but we're gonna put Blade Beckstead in. We're gonna have Ricky Evans with some carries, and really just try to find a way to generate a little offense on the ground and see which one can come through.
And within that, he said he does see that, people ask him about the passing game, a little stagnant. He says it's all keyed about the running game. Their emphasis this week was to run the ball better.
And there's Palmer on the draw. CJ still on his feet inside the 20 to the 15. Palmer all the way down to the 14. And on cue, as we're talking about the running game, Mike, Palmer busts one right up the middle, and I thought Kemp did a great job selling the pass.
Yeah, absolutely. This is just a nice play action, or not a play action fake. He sells the pass and gets the ball underneath. Underneath here, you'll see good blocks up front, and now our short yardage back suddenly for MSU is out in open space and makes a couple of good moves, gets the ball down to about the 13-yard line.
Beckstead now in a tailback for Montana State, first down from the 13. Beckstead with the call up over the right side, picks up a couple. And let's go down on the field and join Dave Griffiths.
Chris, I talked to Rob Ash about Cody Kemp making his first start of the season today before the game, and he said Cody was understandably very excited about this opportunity that he has this afternoon. You can tell right there what the coaches are doing. They're throwing short passes, they're running the ball a lot, trying to get him involved into the offense, because Coach Ash thought that he might be a little nervous also, as well as being excited early, so they're trying just to work him into the game as slowly as possible, and it's working pretty well for Montana State so far, down to the 15-yard line.
Absolutely. 2nd and 8. Here's Cody, goes to the end zone, almost picked off, intended for Akpla. Looked like he stopped on his route.
Yeah, he did. I think there actually was a lane there to throw that. And you can see, boy, Cody Kemp, we haven't seen him for a while, but he does have the big gun, and he really let that thing go over the middle with a lot of confidence. The receiver just stopped on his route a little bit, or I think that may have been first opportunity for the Bobcats to get in the end zone.
This is much the same scenario as last week, where the Cats were able to move at will up and down the field, but not able to score inside the red zone. And here we are at 3rd and 8 from the 11. Let's see what they come with now. 2 receivers set, Beckstead in the backfield. Now Cody throws it out there, and that's complete. Lead to Gilbert inside the 5, close to the goal line, and yes, he's in. Everett Gilbert from Cody Kemp with a touchdown, and Montana State has the first points of the game.
Everett Gilbert on a great start there, but I'll tell you what, as we watch the replay here, give a big pay attention to number 50, the left tackle, Leo Davis. He'll come into your screen. He's out here, takes 2 guys on right there at the point of attack, and then Everett Gilbert able to take it upfield and get into the end zone.
Cunningham on for the extra point. Paluska to hold, kick on the way, and that is good. So with 9:59 to go in the opening quarter, Montana State strikes first, and we'll be back right after the Max Media Cat Grizz update. And back at Bobcat Stadium, where Montana State strikes first, as Cody Kemp, getting the start from Mark Hiddens, hits Everett Gilbert for the touchdown, and the Cats have the early lead. Scoring drive, 10 plays, 74 yards, 3:31 off the clock. And leading to the first touchdown of the afternoon, putting Montana State on top.
And if that's definitely the kind of start you want to see. You've got a quarterback making his first start, hasn't seen a lot of these receivers. They said that this week in practice, maybe the communication and timing wasn't there, but on that opening drive, they sure looked, with the exception of the one pass, they were clicking.
Well, and they closed the deal on the opening drive, and I think that's big, and Coach Ash has got to be pleased with that, to see his team not only take time off the clock, but finish with the touchdown. And Sims, again, will field this in the end zone, brings it up over the 10. Still on his feet to the 25. Now fumbles the football, loses the football in Montana State. Caleb Schreibeis, I believe, the freshman, falls on it, and the Bobcats will get it right back.
Well, we talked about getting an explosive start here. They had a good lane, we're getting it upfield, and they just can't. And here we go, let's look back. Here we go. Kick is right to the goal line, which is a great spot when you're on that kick cover team, but they do get a little seam, but just able to pull the ball out here. A good strip. I think that might have been Schreibeis actually at 91 there. So again, as we look at the touchdown here, watch to the right of our screen here where they ball fake. Leo Davis just does a great job coming and getting that block out there on the corner to clear that thing, create some space for Gilbert.
First down for Montana State. Now flag flies in, and
Still first down.
that'll go against Montana State. We'll back them up 5. We talk about the quarterback change, but really, Mike, when you go back to last year, Cody Kemp started most of the season until he was injured. Inns came in the Northern Arizona game. He got nicked up, and then the two kind of battled back and forth all spring. So I'm not sure you really lose much other than it's just a change.
No, they battled all spring. They battled all fall. The decisive factor, according to Coach Ash, was they thought that the ball security with Idden was a little bit better, but obviously Kemp has stepped in today kind of under fire and is doing a great job with another completion right there.
Yeah, Julius Lloyd with the catch down to the 21-yard line, and it's going to bring up 2nd and 5. Bobcats on the move again after the fumble on the kickoff. Well, this South Dakota team came in last year, and as we talked about, they're making the transition to the FCS. It did not count as an FCS win for Montana State. It does this year, so this is a big game for Montana State. Coming off that loss. Now Palmer keeps his feet moving, and CJ, good hard running close to the first down. It's going to be about a yard short.
Nice job by him creating that seam for himself on that time. There was a little bit of, there's some penetration coming upfield from the South Dakota defensive front, but watch how low CJ Palmer's pad level is. Just fantastic. He'll stop here and he rolls those things down, and he's making contact with the top of his shoulders on those defenders, not giving them a very big target to tackle, and as a result he's been able to pick up 4 hard yards.
3rd and 1 from the 17 now. Palmer still driving those feet inside the 15, and a first down. CJ on a bit of a mission today.
He looks like it. He's a bull. He got to go back and pick up his helmet. He forgot something there at the end of that run. That's just great effort. Let's take a look at it here from the ground level. And you can see just in here, this is what it looks like. And watch him roll those pads down at contact and keep that helmet low. He's got guys coming in, but they just can't get underneath him to stand him up. That's just great technique running the football.
First down from the 13. Beckstead in now at running back. He gets the call. Blade Beckstead inside the 5, down to the 3. A huge hole as Beckstead just north-south running, and a first down, set up 1st and goal. Well, did you see the running lane on the left? I mean, they sealed off that entire side of the field.
Yeah, it looked like they caved everybody over to the left side, and he just does a great job. They go, it's a little cutback play. They ride all the linemen across, and then he's just one-on-one with that safety, and that's a battle that that running back will usually win.
2nd and 1 from the 3. Stay on the ground to Beckstead, and Beckstead slams up in there. Close to the touchdown. I think they're going to mark him about a half yard short, but it will be a first down. So Montana State will be looking at a 1st and goal from inside the 1. Already leading 7-0.
very similar play to the one play previous, except for that you can see in the last play, Beckstead does a job of really cutting it back hard. This one he takes much more up the middle. Of course, he's in the short yardage trying to get to that end zone. It just comes up just a hair short. They're going to be just short by about the length of a football.
Kyle Beggar, the tight end, lines up as the fullback, now shifts over. Beckstead gets the ball, now cuts up inside, and he'll be short. Good job by the Coyotes that time as they break that play down. In on the stop is Shane Potter, defensive back out of Becker, Minnesota, to wrap him up and bring him down short of the goal line.
Yeah, Potter does a nice job of coming off the edge and is able to come clean and come hard enough to make that play short of the goal line. He is their leading tackler coming into today. Interesting to have a defense you talk about. They do give up a little yards, and you can see that in that their two leading tacklers are their two safeties.
Kemp calls his own number, and once again, he's going to be marked short. So Cody Kemp tries the quarterback sneak. Bobcats are stopped again, so make it 3rd and goal from inside the 1.
Well, we talked about how the short yardage goal line guy for the last 2 years has really been C.J. Palmer, but we have not seen him on this last push here, and they're going to keep him on the sideline again for this play. Go with that same set. They'll start with Schreibus at the fullback position. He may roll out of that, and Beckstead behind him.
And this time Cody looks up top, fires in there, touchdown Montana State. Kyle Beggar slips out of the backfield, the tight end. Cody Kemp goes up top for the touchdown, and a very well-designed play. You'll see Beggar lining up as the fullback and then just sneaks into the flat for the touchdown.
Yeah, he looks like he's going to lead it up, and they just don't pay him any attention. Once he looked like he was going into the line to block, obviously the linebacker breaks free and starts to look for that running back. Great play, well executed. Cunningham
on for the extra point. Haluska to hold, kick on the way, and good. So with 6:08 to go in the first quarter, Montana State ups the lead as they lead 14-0 over South Dakota, and you're watching Bobcat Game Day. Well, there it is, a 10-play, 25-yard drive for Montana State. Touchdown pass from Kemp to Kyle Beggar, and Montana State leads 14-0, all Bobcats so far in this opening quarter.
Off to a good start. This is a situation we talked about last year, the missed opportunities in that first quarter, first half against NAU, where the Bobcats had chances but came up from point standpoint. Coach Ash said, boy, could have been a different ball game if we get out to that, what could have been a 21-0 lead. Then it really changes the style of play.
Cunningham booms this one down to the end zone. Sims will take it, bobbles it, now brings it up over the 10 to the 20. And Sims gets just over the 20-yard line, and the Coyotes go back to work. Let's go back and take a look at that touchdown.
Well, again, as you can see here, with Beggar lines up, and he will just go take a hard motion that looks like he's going to, as we go to our right, his left, a hard, looks like a blocking motion. The linebacker, 44, you see sucks up, and there's just no one out there, and he's wide open for the easy touchdown.
All right, Coach, well described there. First down from the 21. South Dakota in an early hole in this game on the road against Montana State. Certainly not the position they wanted to be in. We've talked about their proficiency on offense. Last year, six game wins, 6-5. There you see the numbers for Noah Shepard. Those are impressive.
Yeah, just the 11 touchdowns to the 5 interceptions is a great ratio. Coach Ash said, third week in a row, they've got a quarterback who's got a 3-to-1 basically touchdowns to interception ratio, which is very impressive and shows really, that you're dealing with a smart, efficient QB.
Shepard looks across the middle, has a man complete to Nowotny up over the 40 and a first down. Well, last year, South Dakota had a 6-win season, and their first FCS win came in that first season as they beat Southern Utah 42-20.
Well, if the Bobcats defensively have had an Achilles heel this year,
so
that is it, that intermediate passing game. I don't know, it looks like our safeties are too deep. Coach Ash talks about that the linebackers' drops have been short, but clearly as a secondary and a pass defensive unit, they are not meshing, and they've given up a ton of yards in that intermediate area.
Gainey is wrapped up right at the line of scrimmage. Actually, that was Isaac Newton who's into the game for the first time. Gets his first carry.
Well, conversely, now we'll see it on our Northwestern Energy replay. We talk about struggling to pass. They have been nails, tough as can be against the run. And there you see it, just nothing going inside. This is a team that, much like the Bobcats, South Dakota wants to set up their pass with an effective running game. Going to be an interesting challenge to get that going against this very tough rush defense for Montana State.
4:20 and counting in this opening quarter. South Dakota down by a couple of touchdowns. 4 receiver set. Shepard now runs out of the pockets, got some room up over midfield into Montana State territory, and a first down. Nice job of running by Noah Shepard as he picks up the first down.
Yeah, we talked in the open about this was a quarterback who can hurt you with his arm as well as his feet. There's a perfect example. Here we see it again. He breaks the pocket, but watch the pursuit here by Fletcher. He is not to be denied. He's going to run this guy down. Comes from the other side, almost gets a heel there, but does get him the push out of bounds.
First down to the 44. First trip inside Bobcat territory. Shepard again keeps it. Well, you look at what he's been able to do passing the ball, but he's the 3rd leading rusher on the team, Mike. He comes in with 267 yards rushing, averaging better than 4 yards a carry, and of course, he has thrown for all those yards. So put it together, and he alone is averaging 225 yards a game. That's pretty good for one guy.
A tremendous threat from the total offense picture there, and you can see they utilize it there where they go that tight option into the short side of the field, and they're very comfortable with him turning the ball upfield and running.
2nd and 5 from the 39. Coyotes on the move. Gainius with some big-time running room up over the 30 to the 25. It's going to be another first down.
Well, you can feel South Dakota start to build some momentum here. They get a nice hole inside. Gainius cuts inside that tackle, turns it up. They've got a good man on the backer, and he's able to get a nice gain, continue to move the chains. They've got their first drive moving so far, but now they're getting awful close to entering the dreaded red zone where the Bobcat defense really steps up their level of play.
First down from the 24. Coyotes trying to answer back, trailing 14 to nothing. Here's Shepard looking across the middle, now pulls it down, has some running room to the 15, has a first down and then some, as Shepard takes it all the way down to the 10-yard line. And again, Shepard just kind of taking this drive over all by himself.
Yeah, a little bit surprised with you come into a game and you've got a guy that really can run the ball. Here it breaks down, there's really no one assigned, or if there was, they missed the assignment on the quarterback, and he's able to step up the middle, scramble for another nice gain.
Well, that looked like run all the way. He dropped back to pass, but it looked like he had his sights set on running the ball. So it is right at the 10-yard line, so it's going to be 1st and goal for the Coyotes. Shepard now operates out of the gun. Bobcats show blitz, here they come. And Shepard keeps the football, and down close to the end zone will be marked a half-yard short. What a great play fake to Gainius inside, and then Shepard turns it upfield and gets close to the touchdown.
Yeah, they sold the run fake very well. And, you know, you've got a guy, this has been his drive from start to finish. He sells the run fake. It's a nice job. Gainius rolls over the top, looks like he's got it, and the Bobcat defense just a little bit fooled, able to stop him short of the goal line. But again, another nice pickup for a running quarterback.
South Dakota now 2nd and goal, and Shepard will take a timeout. And it comes with 1:35 to go in the first quarter. 14 to nothing, but Coyotes a yard away from their first score of the afternoon. Shepard will operate out of the gun, 2nd and goal from the 1. Gainius in the backfield. And they go straight up the middle, and Shepard is going to be short. Third down.
It is just amazing how tough they have been inside the 1-yard line.
Dave?
Goal line defense has been absolutely superb this year. Talking to Coach Ash earlier this week, he said it's the best he's seen in nearly 30 years of head coaching. And what it causes other teams to do is prepare for the goal line defense, their goal line offense every week in a situation they might not see during the game. But obviously South Dakota in that situation today. 3rd and 1, we'll see if the Montana State defense can step up yet again.
All right, this time Shepard lines up under center. Ganius in the backfield. 2 receivers to the left on 3rd down. Now Shepard throws one up in the back of the end zone, and this is caught for a touchdown. A beautiful catch in the end zone by Tom Flanagan. Up over the shoulder, perfectly thrown football by Shepard, and the Coyotes are on the board.
Well, that was just a great job by Flanagan to go get that football. The ball is thrown outside over his left shoulder. Watch the concentration here by Flanagan that you'll see as this ball, he turns to the inside. He's got to follow it all the way around his body. Just a great catch. Touchdown, South Dakota.
Dustin Nowotny on for the extra point. Kick is on its way and good. So with 46 seconds to go in the opening quarter now, whistle and flags, so hold on.
Looks like that is going to be against the Bobcats and will be declined.
So
Offside.
South Dakota.
Defense number 22, the penalty is declined. The point after touchdown is good. Media timeout.
South Dakota capitalizes after getting the football, trailing by a couple of touchdowns, and put together a very impressive drive.
Well, we saw
within 7.
We saw the running ability clearly demonstrated by Noah Shepard on that drive. He just was phenomenal on that. Moved the ball, had several great runs that just quickly put them right back in the ball game. Here, as we look at the touchdown one more time, you can see this ball is just thrown only where this receiver can catch it. He follows it, does a great job with his head, great concentration, and that's just a nice job by the South Dakota offense. Great throw and catch to Tom Flanagan.
Well, it is a very dangerous South Dakota football team, and but you can just see what a beautiful day it is. There's a scoring drive, 11 plays, 79 yards, 5:22 off the clock, and the touchdown pass from Shepard to Flanagan brings South Dakota to within 7. Look at the season so far for this South Dakota team, 3-3 overall. Still looking for win number 1 in conference, but boy, they played a tough game last week, lost in overtime to UC Davis, 24-23, and we all know how good UC Davis is.
Yeah, UC Davis is a fine football team. Gave Montana a great run, as well as a pretty good run to Boise State. Just a heartbreaking loss, came down to a missed PAT in the overtime period of that game. So we'll see how they respond from that loss today.
Out of Vermilion, South Dakota.
Free kick out of bounds, kicking team. The ball will be placed on the 40 by rule. First down.
You know, you look at what great Division II programs are over there in that neck of the woods with North Dakota State, South Dakota State. They're all making the transition to the FCS. North Dakota State the first to go, and they're going to be playoff eligible, I think, next year. But do you remember the first game they played as an FCS member school? They came over and played the Grizzlies in Montana, in Missoula.
Well, I think that bringing that group into what is now the FCS level is really going to strengthen football out here in the West, because we just haven't had a lot of those teams, and now you can get some great non-conference games at this level where you can have a couple competing contests where hopefully we don't have to go out and play, a Division II school or actually step up 2 or 3 times a season. So I think it'll be a great that conference coming together and those groups coming up is going to really do a lot for the Big Sky.
Well, I totally agree. I think it's a perfect conference of teams to play in your non-conference schedule. All right, here's Cody Kemp airing one out, and this one is overthrown. Elvis Akpla had his man beat at the 20-yard line, and Cody just a little bit too much arm there.
Yeah, he does have the strong arm, and boy, he wasn't happy with himself at the end of that play. He knew that he just got a little bit too much in that. But, first start, you do try to press a little bit. A lot of adrenaline for him at this point in the game, and you get that first chance to go downtown, which has really kind of been one of his strengths, and he just a little bit too much on that one.
It's 3rd and 11 now for Montana State. 3 receivers set to the right. Here's Kemp, fires out there, complete to Lloyd at the 45, but he's going to be short of the first down. So they give him the catch underneath, but keep him in front of the first down marker, and that'll bring up 4th down.
Yeah, good stop by that defense. You know, you don't want to give up the big play over the top. You want to rely on those 2 safeties in the corner. Those are the best tacklers on this South Dakota defense. So, again, they answered the call there. The Bobcats will be forced into their first punt of the contest.
Eric Fisher out of Billings West into kick, leading the Big Sky in kicking, 45.7 yards per punt. That's impressive.
It really is.
Jeez.
He has got the big leg. Coach Ash commented this week that sometimes a little bit too big, that he outkicks them their coverage on a time, which kind of explains they've had some, you know, he's got the 45-yard plus average.
Kicking team, 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
Well, I don't think this makes a big difference for you here. You know, we talked about his big leg, but yeah, they net punting, they're only at 34 yards. That's a number that Coach Ash and the Montana State staff would like to see increase, but it is somewhat explained by, you know, you've got a kicker, number 1 in the Big Sky, 3rd in the FCS. He has got some power.
So Fisher now will stand inside his 30 to kick this one away. Still having a conference out there with the officials. Not sure what they're talking about. This will be the final play of the first quarter. Just 1 second in this opening period. Bobcats leading by a touchdown. What is our discussion about? Do you have any idea what the...
You know, they don't let me in on much of that, Chris, but I'm guessing that may be related to the clock. They've been pointing at the scoreboard. I'm not sure what the issue could be if they're trying to determine maybe that they need to put some time back on that.
Field. The game clock should have been running. Therefore, there is no delay of game. The quarter will end on the wind of the clock.
All right, so that's the end of the first quarter. After all of that, we played 15 minutes of football. Montana State leads over the Coyotes from South Dakota 14-7 in Bozeman. Bobcats on 4th down will punt. Flanagan is back. They fake it and now throw it up over the middle. And that is incomplete to Schreiby. So Montana State rolls the dice and can't come up with the first down, and South Dakota is going to get the football inside Bobcat territory.
Well, confident play when you're going to go out and try and make something happen here, and they fake the high snap and they just try to run Schreiber up the seam. Unfortunately, the ball is thrown just a little bit too long for the Bobcats, but that's a big stop and a great opportunity now for the South Dakota group to get this thing back and maybe try and knot this score up at 14.
Score in Missoula, Eastern Washington on top of the Grizz 10-2 in the first quarter. Back here, South Dakota with the football. Now Shepard pulls it down, got some room, and then goes down at the 45. So the Bobcats collapse quickly on Shepard, and he gets maybe 2 on the play. Looked like he might have had a little bit more, but Montana State defense shutting that down effectively.
I think that they're going to do a better job after that last drive. I think you're going to have a lot more assignment football inside where you've got a linebacker that is spying, in effect, that quarterback and just not letting him get those free runs up the middle of the field.
Gain of 2 on the play, 2nd and 8 from the 49. Just underway in the second quarter. Shepard under center, now fires it out, and that's batted down. Nice play by Jody Evans to knock that one down. Will bring up 3rd and long. We talked about Montana State's defense, Mike, and they are number 2 against the rush. They only give up 72 points a game, but the passing is where they've had the biggest problem, giving up over 300 yards. But nice job that time by Evans to knock it down.
Well, that's one way to take that pass away, is to not let it get past the line of scrimmage. Jody Owens has done a nice job as a freshman in this defense. Those linebackers have bounced around a little bit with the injuries and the flu today, but they have done an awesome job, particularly on the run, but then you see him making a play on the pass there.
3rd and 9 for the 49. Shepard now gets hit, runs out of trouble, still on his feet. Shepard to the 35, out of bounds at the 30, and a first down. Noah Shepard
Wow, I'm not sure exactly what happened. We talked about the linebackers making some play. Chase Gazzaro comes on this play, and he is wide open. He's got an unimpeded path from the left side of your screen to the quarterback. He almost just tagged off as if he heard a whistle, or maybe thought we were playing touch football on that one. But you're not going to get Noah Shepard down with that kind of effort. He's just a big, strong kid that loves to run the football.
So a first down to the 30 already. Shepard with 58 yards rushing on 6 carries. First down from the 30. Coyotes trail by a touchdown, but threatening here in the second quarter. This time Shepard keeps it. Loss of 1 on the play. 2nd and 11. No fooling the Bobcat defense that time.
No, I think Fletcher and Gazzaro were in on that stop again here. They've got to keep this kid bottled up. They've shown us that, but he tries to pull it out on the run fake. Fletcher comes first. Gazzaro's there in the middle. Nice job by the MSU defense.
Fletcher, senior out of Bozeman. What an outstanding career he's had at Montana State. And off to another great start this season. 2nd and 10 from the 30. Out of the I formation. Here's Shepard. Fires long for the end zone, and this is caught inside the 5-yard line. Dan Skelly down to the 3 and sets up 1st and goal. Skelly might be shaken up on the play.
Well, Skelly I think is suffering. I think he came into this game with a broken hand as their all-time touchdown leader, but this time just stops just in short. The Bobcat safety, Michael Ryder, is playing very deep there, opens up the room in front, and he's able to make the catch, and they are down to the Bobcat 2-yard line.
So South Dakota, after trailing by 2 touchdowns early, have stormed back and now 3 yards away from potentially tying the game. 1st and goal from the 3. Gainius in the backfield for Shepard. Going to run a little option. Shepard now hit at the 5 and brought down. Nothing doing. He'll lose a couple on the play.
Well, you just can't rush the ball down there on the MSU defense. Coming into today's game, Montana State is the only team in the FCS division that has not allowed a rushing touchdown. Here you go, you can see it, and boy, that's a great job of rallying to the football. Cosme Pecco is there to shut that thing down.
Loss of 1, 2nd and goal from the 4. Shepard will operate out of the gun. Straight back, now flip the 5, inside the 5. And that was to Flanagan. Just a gain of 1, so 3rd and goal.
Yeah, you can see South Dakota just wants to flip this thing to the outside and get one-on-one out there. Bobcats do a good job of rallying up, keeping the ball in front, making the stop, bringing up the big 3rd down play.
17 catches for Flanagan coming into this one for 209 yards. And a 3rd and goal from the 3. Shepard motions Flanagan across. Gets the ball. Now pulls it down and runs, and he's going to be short of the goal line. Gets inside the 1, and that's going to bring up 4th down.
Well, a good stop. South Dakota, I love the scheme here. What they're trying to do is really spread the Bobcats out. They go motion to the trips to the left and try and open up some running lanes in there for their quarterback, but Dan Ogden rallies to the football and makes a big stop just short of the goal line.
Well, they've had all kinds of kicking problems this year, and looks like South Dakota may go here on 4th down. And they are. 4th and less than a yard. Shepard out of the gun, standing at the 5-yard line. Crowd on their feet. Shepard keeps the ball. He's hit behind the line of scrimmage, stays on his feet, and he'll be stopped short. Great penetration for Montana State. He was hit almost immediately after he got the football.
Well, Clay Bignell, I think, is the guy that made the stop there, but now we do have a couple of Bobcats down here. We can see on the replay, fake inside again. They want to keep it with their quarterback. Owens does a good job, but can't quite get him down, but slows him up just enough to allow Bignell to get there, and I think that's Michael Ryder on the bottom of that pile that may still be down.
All right, so with an injury on the field, 10:07 to go, second quarter, we'll step aside. Montana State with the goal line stand has the football and the lead.
Always go with a running back first. Their money. They get rushing.
Michael Ryder's shaken up on the play, but is off the field and looks like he's okay. And taking a break. He and Dan Ogden both at the bottom of that pile on fourth down. The junior out of Billings played for Paul Clabo at West High. Here's Kemp out of the end zone. Is going to throw one up. Intended for Akpla now. Is he inbounds? No. Great catch by Elvis Akpla, but they say he's out of bounds, so incomplete pass brings up second down.
Well, I like the call there. You're on the 1 yard line, and you're going to try and take it over the top. Let's take a look at it and just see where he does come down. It looked to me like when he jumps up in the air to catch this ball that this DB is able to push him out and not allow him to get a foot down. In the college level, that is a legal play, and you can force the receiver out of bounds, and that is an incomplete pass.
Second down. Bobcats from the 1 try to get some breathing room. And they give it to Palmer, and he'll push the pile ahead for a couple. That's going to bring up third down. Well, I like the call for South Dakota. You're on the road. You're behind. Second quarter, you've had kicking problems. But that Montana State defense ranked only 7th in the Big Sky Conference coming into this game. But, man, I'll tell you, inside the 20, they are tough.
They just have been incredible. I've never seen so many plays inside the 1 yard line. And I would have said that coming into today. But now we've seen several stops on these last two drives in there. Again, it's just they do a great job down there.
Oh, Kemp fired it out there, intended for Lloyd. I believe that was Lloyd. Yeah, he had it for a moment. Would have been a first down. So the end result of this is South Dakota is going to get the football back with great field position. The Bobcats are forced to a 3 and out.
Well, that's sort of the when you limit yourself a little bit when you do go for that big play over the top on first down, then things are a little bit tougher because you don't have as many efforts to get that thing cleared up. Now you've got your great punter, but he is a little bit short fielded here where he's got to get this thing away much more quickly than he usually does.
Boy, great job by Fisher. This will drive Flanagan all the way back to the 40-yard line. Flanagan up to midfield. And then he is just absolutely hammered by Schreibeis at the 45.
That was just a great shot. The big tight end's getting it done on special teams as well. Just a beautiful tackle there by Schreibeis.
9:10 to go, second quarter.
The best stuff on earth. That's Johnson Lane Materials. Landscapers and homeowners, Johnson Lane Materials has just added new bins for imported materials like scoria and limestone. The right rock is right here. And they're always a solid source for river rock, gravel, road base, and topsoil. Johnson Lane Materials makes it easy. Get what you need, pay on your credit card, and haul it away. Or let them deliver it to you. Call 896-1904 for Johnson Lane Materials. The best stuff on earth. A mile and a half off Johnson Lane at 3530 Colson Road in Lockwood.
Are you ready for the ski season? Then come to the new place where the skiers shop. Alpine High has moved to a new location on Grand Avenue, and all the new gear is here. New clothing, boots, accessories, and skis, like the Technica Dragon, the Blizzard Answer, or the Vocal Mantra. Before you hit the slopes, go with the experts at Alpine High, 2132 Grand Avenue, where the skiers shop. And as always, pray for snow.
It's easy to go shirtless when it's 65, but where were these guys last week? Where was the commitment? Where was the dedication?
It just wasn't there. You know, when it gets down below 20 degrees, these guys seem to disappear, or at least they had their parkas on last week.
Gorgeous afternoon. First down from the 46. South Dakota with the football, trailing by a touchdown. And Shepard pulls down. Now look, still looking. Gets chased and now throws it out of bounds. And a good thing he did. as everyone was converging on him. Dustin O'Connell was right there. Let's go down on the field and join Dave Griffiths.
Grider, both out there on the field right now. Just took a little bit of a big hit on that last play. They were stretching out Ogden's left quad, and Ryder was the first one off the training table. Pretty tough guy himself, so they're all back on the field. No problem for Montana State in this series.
All right, thank you, Dave. So Bobcat defense looking at a 2nd and 10 for the Coyotes from the 46. And this time Ganius gets the ball, kind of dances his way down inside the 45, picks up 4 on the play, and another 3rd down for South Dakota. I like the way that South Dakota hung in there. They got down 14-0, no panic, didn't get out of their game plan, kind of turned the ball over to Noah Shepard and let him manage the game, and here we are at 14-7. They have the football and a chance to tie the game, and we're at 8:30 to go in the second half.
Yeah, interesting to see this call. I think that's the first time we've seen anybody but Noah Shepard carry the ball with that last play for quite some time. So we'll see who they want to go to here on 3rd and 6.
4 receiver set now. And Shepard thinks about running, now still dancing around. And that ball is caught by Skelly at the 35. And that's going to be enough for the first down. Boy, you talk about awareness and presence. Shepard looked off 2 or 3 receivers, thought about running, finally rolled to his right and found Skelly for the first down.
Yeah, this is a smart, efficient quarterback. You see here, he feels pressure. He starts moving to the outside, but his eyes are up the field, and Skelly had done an excellent job of sitting down on that out route in perfect position to create that lane and get just enough for the first down.
Skelly with 18 catches already on the season, first down from the 34. Ganius can't break out of the tackle at the 35. Dane Fletcher is there. Picks up 1, maybe 2 on the play. That's going to bring up 2nd and long. Well, we noticed that Chase Gazzaro now out of the game, replaced by Matt Harris. Gazzaro suffering from the flu this week and was able to go for a good part of this first half, but now Harris in relief.
Yeah, well, it'll be interesting if we see him back. You know, he had the one play that looked like he had a sure sack and wasn't a very sure tackle, which is very unusual for him. So he may be done for the day due to the illness.
Ganius gets to the corner and then some, and that's going to be a first down. Well, it looked like Fletcher had him, but Ganius was able to reach the corner, and once he turned upfield, positive yards on a first down.
Yeah, just some great feet by Ganius here. Gets the pitch out here to the right side and then is able to avoid that first tackle and does just a great job of keeping his feet in bounds to make a nice pickup and get the first down for South Dakota.
So just like that, the Coyotes knocking on the door again. 1st and 10 from the 21. Fast-moving second quarter now, inside 7 minutes. Shepard's got 2 receivers to the left. They'll keep it on the ground to Ganius, and Ganius breaking all kinds of tackles inside the 10. 1st and goal, first down.
Well, let's not forget that these guys love to rush the ball as well, and look at their offensive line up front is really starting to get some movement on the Bobcat defensive front. But those guys all go, you know, they're 6'4", 304, 280, 295, 304, 298. They are a big bunch up front, and they are much stronger than last year.
And it looks like Michael Ryder is down again. You might remember he was shaken up on the last series, came back, and now this time he'll head off the field. So we'll try to find out from Dave Griffiths what his status will be. In the meantime, South Dakota with a 1st and goal from the 7.
Well, this Bobcat defense has really been backed up a lot of this second quarter and then been down here at South Dakota several times. They've got to feel like they came away with some missed opportunities here, and let's see what they try and do in this goal line situation.
Darius Jones replaces Ryder, and he's matched up out there in the corner with Will Powell. So 1st and goal from the 7. Shepard now throws it up for the end zone, and I think thought we might get pass interference. Looked like someone got a hand on the jersey of London Landry.
Boy, it looks like they're just trying to take advantage of that one-on-one relationship there. Landry, a big guy, he's got the height advantage, but watch Roteriano does a good job, I think, of keeping his hands off, but coming across with that hard, aggressive rip with his left hand to knock that ball free.
Roteriano just 5'9", and matched up there with Landry, who goes 6'4", so they were trying to work the size of Landry on Roteriano, but nice defensive stop. Second down and goal from the 7. Shepard gives it to Ganius, and Harris bulldogs him down for no gain on the play. Might lose one.
Boy, just a great play by Harris, recognizing that inside handoff. And he does what you want your linebackers to do. Once they recognize the play, they are coming upfield. They're not waiting for that back to come to him. Great play by Harris. Little loss. Now we've got another third down situation.
So Shepard again. 3rd and goal from the 8.
No, this is a team that's been converting about 45% of their third downs on the season, so they're used to having more success down here in these situations than they've had today.
Crowd on their feet. Shepard looks into the end zone, and this one is batted away, intended for Skelly. And a nice job by the backup defensive back. That's Darius Jones.
Darius Jones, you know, the Bobcats are seeing some more corners today. We haven't talked about it yet, but Corey Nickel is out of the game today, so there's some of these backup corners are getting some opportunities to play, and here's what you call stepping up and making a big play on the goal line. He makes a nice break up there, and then he just gets walloped by his own player coming across the middle.
Nowotny for 25-yard field goal, and that is good. So Dustin Nowotny hits from 25 yards out. South Dakota trails by 4. You're watching Bobcat Game Day.
Did you know you can insulate your house and your wallet? It's easy. Thanks to Northwestern Energy's E+ natural gas savings for the home program. You can earn a sizable rebate when you upgrade your home's insulation, add a programmable thermostat, install a new high-efficiency natural gas furnace or water heater. Make your home more energy efficient. It'll keep you...
Back in Bozeman after the field goal by Dustin Nowotny. There you see the scoring drive, 10 plays, 38 yards, 25-yard field goal makes it a 14-10 game, and Sawyer to kick it away for South Dakota. Kick coming down to Gilbert inside the 5. Gilbert at the 15 to the 20, breaks a couple of tackles, now gets to the outside of the 25. Gilbert still on his feet to the 35. Nice run back by Everett Gilbert in great field position for Montana State as they'll start from the 35.
Boy, you can just feel this kid. We talk about him every week, but you can just feel him growing up right in front of your eyes, and he just more big plays in different areas every week. Here he just is able to shed that tackle. What looked like was going to be down near the 20, able to get a great 32-yard return there for the true freshman, number 14, Everett Gilbert.
Well, we'll see if Montana State can put together a drive here with 5:23 to go in the second quarter. Very impressive offensively in quarter number 1, but have slowed down a little bit here in the second quarter. And Gilbert again gets the call up over the 40, flag down. Gilbert inside South Dakota territory. Now another flag comes in.
Boy, these look in the area that they may be holding. At least the first one, and I think we may even have a second holding call out outside the numbers on Julius Lloyd.
That would negate a first down by Gilbert.
Two holds on the play. Holding, 82 offense, decline. Holding, 50 offense, 10 yards from the spot of the foul. First down.
So indeed, holding is the call. That's going to back Montana State up 10 yards. First and 20.
Let's take a look at it here. You can see Lloyd, he's got, I think that's the definition of holding. You got a handful of jersey, and you're going to get caught for that every time when you've got that extension there away from your body. When you are on the sideline, you've got a linesman looking right at you as the in player on the line of the scrimmage, and you're just not going to get away with that one.
First and 19. Gain of a couple on the play. That's Blade Beckstead back in the game. Let's go down on the field and join Dave Griffiths.
Well, Chris, Mike Ryder was back in the game for that field goal attempt by South Dakota, so he's okay. But you guys were talking about the flu earlier today, and it's something that has hit the Cats this year a little bit. I'm going to keep talking here. Montana State with a nice run there. Specifically about the flu. Chase Gazzaro has been hit by it today. It's been hurt Leo Davis. It's hurt Eric Fisher in the past of this year. Mark Giddens is out with a respiratory infection. What the deal is, but Wire-Bash says, it's hard for him to control, obviously, sickness of his players. But what he does is you just take that one person, keep him away from the rest of the team, and then hope that works for the best.
All right, thank you, Dave. So Gilbert picks up the first down. And now Beckstead with some good, hard inside running will pick up 4 on the play, down to the 46 of South Dakota.
Bobcats going with a little bit of the no huddle hurry up here. You could, we've got the South Dakota coaches next door to us in the booth. The previous play, they were going crazy trying to get that defense lined up, but the Bobcats did a good job of really catching South Dakota a little late getting off the snap.
2nd and 6, they set up the screen beautifully to Beckstead, who's got running room. Beckstead inside the 30 to the 25 on a first down. Wow, that was sold perfectly by the quarterback as Kemp. Play action, looks left, and then with the nice dump to the screen pass to Beckstead, and a good job of running after the catch.
Really, offensively, there's just not that much that is prettier than a well-executed screenplay, because you get those big linemen out in front. They made some nice plays, got some blocks, and watch Beckstead here. We can see it almost through his eyes. He does a little line fake, sneaks out there to the sidelines, had some big boys in front of him, and then is able to pick up some on his own at the end of that play. Just a great, well-executed play by the Bobcat offense.
First down from the 25. Kemp now looks into the back of the end zone. That was just a broken play. Thomas went inside. The pass went outside.
Yeah,
someone
Thomas,
thought post, someone thought corner.
Right, and I think it was actually, at least from Cody Kemp's standpoint, he was looking for Elvis Akpla on the outside that time. Elvis actually stopped his route, broke it off on the 10-yard line. Cody obviously thought that he was going to be deep in the end zone. Just a little bit of a miscommunication. Again, these guys haven't had a lot of reps together, with Cody making his first start here today of the 2009 season. 2nd and 10 from the 23. Kemp now throws it out to the left. That's complete to Beggar, and Beggar to the 15. And Kyle Beggar might have just enough for the first down. Taken out of bounds. I think he's going to be about a half-yard short. Boy, you just love the way the Bobcats so consistently can slide these tight ends underneath that coverage, get them out in the flat, and you know we've kind of made fun of them a little bit about how they run the ball, but really they have been very effective this season for MSU, getting those type of plays upfield. 3rd and 1 from the 14. They give us to Palmer, and Palmer squirts through. Just a small opening over that right side, but it's enough for the first down. Good recognition by Palmer and understanding where he is on the field and just what they've got to get. Obviously, by making a little hop, he gets away from his normal style of trying to bowl things over, but he wanted to take advantage of the little gap, pick up the first down, and move the chains and give them another opportunity. Well, stay on the ground to Palmer, and Palmer slams it up inside the 10, still on his feet, and down to the 8-yard line. So CJ, with some good hard running, picks up 4. And 2nd and 6. Bobcats can still pick up a first down as we're inside 3 minutes to go in the second quarter. Palmer is just a load. That time strong safety Jim Thompson came up hard. You'll see number 9 on the Northwestern Energy replay. He comes up to take this play on, but CJ just gives him a good pop, and Thompson just able to hang on and prevent that touchdown. Kemp rolls left, and that is complete to Schreibeis at the 5. And Schreibeis close to a first down. Big tight end out of Billings West with a nice catch. Well, I tell you, it's almost astonishing to me. Cody Kemp, even on what he threw, that maybe 6-yard, but that ball comes out of his hand in a hurry, and there's just, you can see a little bit difference in the arm strength of what we're used to with Iddens. Well, and much more mobility. Like Cody Kemp can get it done with his legs a little more. It's a 3rd and 1 from the 3. And the give us to Beckstead, and Beckstead looks like he has just enough for a first down. Of course, we talked about the injury, or the concussion rather, to Aaron Mason not playing today. with I can't see the spot. They haven't really cleared it off, but it does look like they're going to bring the change in. I'm going to say that this one looks just a little bit short, Chris. I think that this is going to bring up a 4th down for the Bobcats. And let's see if they are, in fact, short. Let's see what they do. The Bobcats actually 8 of 8 on converting on 4th down so far this season.
Well, you were spot on with your calls at Weber, so we'll see if you have the same magic here in Bozeman.
Yeah, we'll see. My time may have run out, but I do think that this one is going to be a bit short.
We'll see if Callahan extends the streak here. So you're saying a bit short. It's going to be awfully close.
I'm saying we got 4th down.
All right. And you are right on the money again. You're good.
Well, I credit that to Doug Kimball. He's a fine optometrist here in the Bozeman area. Takes good care of me.
4th and less than a yard for Montana State, under 2 minutes to go, and it looks like they will go.
Well, they're going to send the offense on. You could see the offensive linemen, they were calling, they wanted to stay on the field. They did not want to see Cunningham come out. They believe in themselves, and when you're an offensive line, you've got to believe that you're going to go get the 1 yard.
Double tight end to the right. They run it off the other way to Palmer, who's hit, falls forward, and a 1st down. CJ was met short of the 1st down, but he kept his feet, kept the pile moving, and that's going to bring up a 1st and goal. See, it gets enough for the 1st down.
Credit CJ Palmer on this. We'll see. There's a good push. There's not much there at the point of attack. He's got to cut this thing back inside and just, again, low pad level, and is able to drive just enough to pick up that 1st down.
So 1st and goal for Montana State. And they have basically used up the remainder of this 2nd quarter on this drive. Kempt under center. Palmer slams up over the left side and a touchdown. CJ Palmer does what he does best, short yardage rushing, and Palmer into the end zone for Montana State in the score.
This is just credit this CJ Palmer and these offensive linemen on this drive have just done a great job. They create just enough of a seam on this scoring play here that he can just sneak up there, and he, once he gets his pads down and he's moving downhill, there's not much that can stop him.
Cunningham on for the extra point off the hold by Haluska. Kick is up and good. 1:12 to go, 2nd quarter. Montana State extends the lead to 11. Montana State on top, 21-10, after the short touchdown run by CJ Palmer, who's filled in nicely for Aaron Mason. Now Palmer, normally the short yardage back, the guy you give it to when you're on the 1 yard line, but he's been forced into tailback duty today, and CJ with some good hard running, this time straight up the middle.
Yeah, you can just see short yardage guys out actually making some moves in space. Here again, you see what we traditionally think of with CJ. He's just bowling people over at the end of the run. He just always you never see him going backwards. He always finishes the run on his belly.
Ball coming down right at the goal line. And a good run back by Sims to the 25. So South Dakota has 2 timeouts and 1:05 remaining here in the 2nd quarter. And we'll see how aggressive they get. 21-10 our score. Bobcats scored the first 14 points of the game. South Dakota then with 10 unanswered. And then Montana State with what I think might be one of their better drives of the season. Got the ball back and really put together a nice drive. Took a lot of time off the clock and ended with the touchdown.
Yeah, I thought they did a great mix of the run and pass there, and gave themselves an opportunity to build some momentum going into this halftime, something that they really have lacked a lot this season. We saw last week, of course, with NAU. Good boy. They played great, but didn't come up with the points to support them at halftime. And look at the great hit coming up the middle. Dan Ogden, the big boy, breaks through the middle and makes a nice wrap on what has been a very good rushing attack for South Dakota.
Gain of 1 on the play, and they'll just keep it on the ground. Gainius avoids 1 tackle, but then brought down right at the 28. So Coyotes more than content to go into the locker room at 21-10. All in all, a pretty good first half of football as South Dakota has stayed with the Bobcats, and a much better offensive performance by MSU this week as opposed to last week against Northern Arizona.
Right, yeah, they not only have they moved the ball, they've turned that into points, which is something that they've been lacking. They come into this game averaging only 17.4 points a game. They end this first half with 21 already today. That's a great spark for that Bobcat offense.
Bobcats go to the locker room leading by 11 over South Dakota. Of course, they met South Dakota here last year and won, and looking to make it 2 straight. There you see the halftime score, and boy, just a real interesting first half of football. Noah Shepard at times just looked virtually unstoppable, whether he was running the ball or throwing the ball. But then I think you're right. I think defensively they put a guy on him, and they were able to contain him a little better in that second quarter.
Well, and I'm sure they had a great plan for him coming in because they know he's going to rush the ball. But the problem is when you've got a great athlete like that, you just can't simulate that with your scout team in practice.
Let's go down on the field with Dave Griffiths, standing by with South Dakota head coach Ed Meyercourt.
Chris, thanks a lot. Coach, down at halftime, what's your message to the team in the locker room?
Well, we hung in there. The beginning started awfully for us, but our kids hung in there. We had a couple short fields on them, didn't convert on a 4th and a half yard. Thought it was a bad call on our part, but you know what? I wanted to keep the 11-point game at half right now. Offensively, we've kind of taken control, except that last series, obviously, and we had them tired. It's too bad we had a bad miscommunication on a 3rd down penalty, and we let them off the hook, and they scored. That's why they're a good team.
Shepard's looked pretty good so far, especially running the ball. Do you expect him to be key in the second half for you guys?
Yeah, Noah's the best player out here, to be quite honest, and he acts like it. He acted like it today. We're gonna do whatever we can. We're gonna ride him as long as we can.
Okay, thanks a lot, Coach. Good luck in the second half. Coming up after the break, it's the Wendy's halftime report, but first up, it's the Montana State Student Achiever. Stay right here, Bobcat Game Day.
The game changer today was really the Bobcats needed to come in and get some offense rolling and get some points early. We see this is the kickoff after their first score. Come down, the Bobcats come down, we get a good strip of the ball, and then number 49, the freshman from Billings, Caleb Schreibus, is able to get on that ball, created the opportunity. Bobcats went in shortly thereafter. We're up 14-zip to kind of get a great start going today.
Yeah, that led to Montana State's second touchdown, and you're right, that upped the lead to 14-0. And South Dakota coming back, though, nicely, and we got us a game at 21-10. This is the Wendy's halftime report. We'll be back to Bobcat Stadium after this.
Over the visiting South Dakota Coyotes. And coming into this year, Montana State knew it had big shoes to fill at middle linebacker. Gone was perennial All-American Bobby Daly, and stepping into his place, sophomore Clay Bignell. And Bignell has been in something like this situation before, and he's living up to expectations this year. Clay Bignell has replaced Bobby Daly before. That was in high school after Daly graduated from Helena Capital. Now Bignell faces that challenge again, and he learned how to handle the situation the first time around.
I can't be Bobby Daly, you know, I can just be as good as I'm going to be, you know, I can just be me, and those are big shoes to fill for sure, but I just got to come in. I got great defensive ends outside and then 2 good linebackers on the outside of me as well, so I just got to do my job, make plays when they come to me, and I think I'll be successful.
Nobody's going to replace Bobby Daly's production. No single guy. I mean, our whole defense has to step it up because Bobby made an awful lot of plays. But Clay's been a force in the middle. He understands the game. He plays fast. He's big. I think he's a prototype Big Sky linebacker. He's got 3 years to play. So hopefully we'll be saying in 3 years, you know, how do you replace Clay Bignell?
Bignell got a lot of help in the transition to starter, especially from his fellow linebackers, seniors Jeff Price and Chase Gazzaro.
Price and Gazzaro both are really good football players, you know, and just watching them, you learn from watching them every day what they're doing, and they kind of bring you along, you know, help you out with certain things, and it helps your development into a player.
I'd say that's one nice thing about our group is that, you know, no one's on their own. Everybody's there willing to help you out and bring everybody along to make sure that whatever needs to get done does.
Bignell saw his first serious playing time as a redshirt freshman last season when Bobby Daly was injured. It was then he first proved he had the ability to fill in seamlessly.
He definitely, I think at the end of last year gained, you know, everybody's confidence, and going into spring, everybody was pretty sure that you know he was going to be the guy that could lead us at that Mike position, and he's done nothing but prove that so far.
After just 5 games this year, Big Nell has already made a name for himself in blue and gold, but honestly, that name was already pretty famous before. Clay's uncle Joe starred for the 1984 National Championship team, so growing up, Clay knew where his allegiances would lie.
You're not going to be a Grizzly, that's for sure. You're born a Cat, and that's how it was. We always rooted for the Cats, you know, from the day I was born.
And coming into this game, Big Nell led Montana State with 35 tackles, tied for that lead with Mike Ryder, and also 3 interceptions, also tied with Mike Ryder, and had 3.5 tackles for loss so far. That's it for right now at the Wendy's Halftime Report at Bobcat Stadium. We'll be back. 21-10 the score right now. Coming up right after the break, we'll have more of the Wendy's Halftime Report.
Let's take a look, Mike, at the numbers from the first half. What do you see there?
Well, you know, it really, from a stat standpoint, things are awfully even. You see the total yards there, just separated by only 2 yards. First down's very even. What stands out to me is the 121 yards rushing for South Dakota. Montana State comes into this game holding their opponents to just over, I believe, 74, right around that area. That's a lot against the rush. The time of possession obviously favors South Dakota significantly because of those rushing yards. But again, the big number that the Cats have done today in the first half that they haven't been able to accomplish is why they may not be on top of the stats. Last week they were way out in front of NAU at half in the stats, but behind on the scoreboard. Today it's a little bit different, pretty even, down on time of possession, but the #1 stat that they keep track of is that 21-10 that we're showing on the scoreboard.
And a pretty clean game, no penalties at all for South Dakota, just 2 for the Bobcats. That 1 turnover came off the kickoff, but you're right, 2 very evenly matched teams statistically, 189 to 187. Montana State with a good mix, 88 rushing, 99 passing, so about a 50-50 split for Montana State on offense. And I found the comments by Coach Meyercourt very enlightening when he spoke with Dave Griffiths before the half. He said 2 things. He clearly thinks they're the better team. He in as much as said that, A, and B, he said Noah Shepard is the best player on the football field. So I think this is a coach that's got a lot of confidence in his team, and what he's seen in the first half, he thinks that they can get it done here. We shall see. Let's check scores from around the Big Sky. Montana now has come back, roared back in the second, and now lead Eastern Washington 20-10 in Missoula. Northern Arizona's jumped out on top of the Portland State Vikings 7-0 out of the Rose City. And Weber State, after the loss to Montana State, now coming back on strong, and they lead Sacramento State 14-0 in that first quarter. You know, Weber had those two early losses. Northern Colorado and Idaho State play a little bit later today. And Weber State got those early losses, but boy, they bounced back nicely, and they're still in the national rankings, and Weber State still with a chance.
Well, very, very talented team, and you can see some of the upcoming games here for the Bobcats next week at Eastern Washington. Interesting to see how that comes out in Missoula. That's going to have a lot of effect either way for MSU, at least. That will still be a very important game. Then, of course, at Portland State, very talented team. You just never seem to know what you're going to get from Portland State this year. And Sacramento State doing a lot better. I got a nice win last week and seems to be performing better, an improved team over last year.
Yeah, so we are on the road next week as we head to Cheney, Washington to take on Eastern Washington. And we'll step aside. You're watching the Wendy's Halftime Report. Montana State.
Welcome back to the Wendy's Halftime Report. Joined now by Montana State head coach Rob Ash. Coach, up by 11 at halftime. Your thoughts on the first half?
Well, very emotional play by our defense again, Dave. They're just unbelievable down in the red zone. Phenomenal stops. I'm really excited about that. But obviously, we'd like to have the other team have a few less trips down there. I thought our drive at the end of the first half with the offense was sensational. Really we hadn't done much. Had a couple 3-and-outs, got a good drive, and ended up with a touchdown. That was huge also.
On offense, Cody Kemp getting the start today. Looks pretty good so far.
He's doing a really good job. Cody's doing everything we could ask him to do, running the team extremely well. I'm really happy with what he's doing.
All right, Coach, thanks a lot. Good luck in the second half. Chris?
All right, thank you, Dave. So we've heard from both coaches, and I think both coaches, by and large, pretty pleased with the efforts of their team. And we take a look at the first half highlights, and South Dakota tried to get it started early as Ganios got a football, broke some tackles, got some positive yards. And then it was Montana State going to work on offense as Cody Kemp hit Everett Gilbert. And then, boy, nice job of running the football and the early score for Montana State. And then the defense, Mike.
Right here we get another look at that, what we had as a game changer. We didn't pick it up before, but that was a family affair. The Schreibeis brothers, one with the strip, one with the recovery. That a touchdown there for Kyle Beggar.
Well, and then South Dakota answered right back as Ganios with good hard running up the middle, then the little fade into the corner of the end zone, and a nice job, a great catch by Flanagan for the touchdown. And then again they go up top, picked up a field goal. And then Noah Shepard, well, what a job he's done, but stoned by the Montana State defense. They had to settle for 3. And then, Mike, just before half, the Bobcats strike again.
Well, here's a play that we went to. That was the first real hurry-up play that the Bobcats had. They caught him off guard, and that really triggered that drive, which leads to Palmer, again, Mr. Touchdown, busted in on short yardage.
Well, you saw Dave's piece that he did at halftime on Clay Bignell, who's done a great job filling in for Bobby Daly. I think he's going to be a fine linebacker for Montana State. Of course, the nephew of Joe Bignell, the big tight end for the Bobcats in 1984, and I do believe that was a teammate of yours. What can you tell us about him?
Well, just no better teammate than Joe, that's for sure. Just the most humble guy, and what a great player.
Well, he was an awesome tight end for that national championship team, and take a look at the Big Sky standings, and Montana, lone man standing as far as the unbeatens at 2-0. Eastern Washington, Weber, Montana State, NAU, and Sac State, all with 1 loss.
Well, you see just the great opportunity that's created by the Stats. Even though they lost the game Montana State did last week with NAU, really, they got to go out to Eastern Washington next week with momentum from this game and really could vault themselves right up to the top of the conference standings.
Well, and here's the thing with Eastern Washington, here's a team that's been ranked all season long. They've already got a loss in the Big Sky. Should they lose in Missoula today, they're really going to have backs to the wall against the Bobcats next week when MSU heads to Cheney. And as we all know, Montana State has had a very tough time winning football games at Eastern Washington.
They really have. That's been really a nice rivalry through the years. Both teams, I think, see themselves as, you know, contenders for that second spot in the conference over the years. The Grizzlies have obviously been out in front, but both teams trying to emerge as that next guy or maybe take over that spot. So they've gone at it pretty good for years now.
Montana State will get the football to start the third quarter. This is one of those decisions where when you defer, this is exactly why. They score at the end of the second quarter, want the ball with a chance to score to start the third. Sawyer's kick comes down to Gilbert right at the goal line. Now Gilbert up to the 10, to the 15, spins away from one tackle, still on his feet, and gets just over the 20-yard line. And I'll tell you what, that was a nice tackle by Will Powell, the wide receiver, because if Gilbert gets out of that tackle, he's got nothing but green in front of him.
No, I think he is off to the races from there. Gilbert does a nice job. I tell you can just see there's a little bit of an element there that you think that he could break any one of these. It's there. Had a little bit of a problem catching the ball back there earlier in the year. I credit Coach Ash and that special teams group for keeping him back there, showing confidence in the true freshman, because it is paying off.
First down from the 22, opening drive, third quarter. And Palmer, good hard running straight up the middle, gets positive yards. I'm looking out over Bobcat Stadium from where we stand, Mike, and I see some serious tailgating going on today.
They are out there in droves today getting the sunshine. I know one group out there that I'm usually a part of, and it's the 31st gathering of the annual Team Schwinn group, which is a bunch of primarily ex-football players from clear going back to the 70s. Here, nice job by the Bobcats, really getting this thing moving the first half. Just a little pitch out here, and they got great job by the O-line. Palmer, he's not a short back every play, is he?
No, he's not. And lots of Gatorade at those tailgate functions?
I believe there was probably this morning. I think they may have moved on by now, Chris.
First down from the 43. Great tradition on any college campus. Here's Cody, still on his feet, and now throws incomplete. They're going to give him the catch. Yes, Kyle Beggar at the 41-yard line, and that's what Cody Kemp brings to the table. He's got good, he's quick, he gets out of the pocket, waits, and finds Beggar for the first down.
Very similar to the play we saw Noah Shepard make in the first half. Flushed out, but eyes are downfield. The receiver does a great job, and look at the arm strength here, throwing off 1 foot, delivers the ball perfectly to Beggar. First down, and the Bobcats are moving.
First down from the 41. Bobcats already in South Dakota territory. Beckstead with the call, slams up inside the 40. Will get it down to the 39.
Well, you really feel like Coach Meyercourt at halftime said, boy, you know, we kind of took over offensively, and I think he was talking about his guys up front. This is an opportunity. You come out the second half, if you're Montana State, you want to give your big guys a chance to take over and really establish that offensive line and the push that really ignites your offense and gives you a lot of the options, both running and throwing the ball.
Boy, what a great play that was. Cody Kemp with the play fake and then boots it out to the left, or runs left rather, and there was nothing but grass in front of him and close to a first down.
Just a naked boot out here. They got nobody in front of him. Cody just turns the corner, and offensively, he's got no receivers on this side of the football, which creates some space with the DBs responding to the other side. Just very impressed so far with the play of Cody Kemp.
Great opening drive here in the third quarter. It's going to be 3rd and 1 from the 31. And Cody this time calls his own number. That's a first down, just inside the 30. We don't talk enough about the offensive line, Mike, and Montana State, although they have, and you've talked about it, they have some young guys. They also got a couple of guys that have started all games on the right side of that offensive line, and you saw it there, the good push up front.
Yeah, you could just, well, with Person and Hansen over on the right side, you've just got guys, I think they're starting their 37th or 38th game side by side. They know what each other is going to do, and it really makes them a tough combo to keep up with on that right side. But the other side too, you've got the younger kids, but they are really starting to gel together.
Nice catch by Julius Lloyd. Just a simple play here, nothing fancy. Kemp rolls out to his right. Finds Lloyd for the 7-yard pickup, so 2nd and 3 from the 23.
Seems like a simple play, but boy, with that 2nd and 2, 2nd and 3 really creates a lot of opportunities for your offense.
Kemp up under center. Looks downfield, still looking, now fires across the middle, had Lloyd wide open inside the 10. And Cody knew it, as Lloyd broke free going across the middle. At the pass incomplete will bring up 3rd down.
Well, there's a play where the end result is not a success for Montana State, but I think you've got to see that as a success for Cody Kemp. He stood in there and held that ball and held his. He knew he was going to take the shot, but he waited. His receiver broke free, and he was able to deliver the football.
Ball is bobbled, and a great job by Cody just to bring that one down. That's going to be a loss back to the 30, but this is still well within the range of Jason Cunningham.
Well, here I think this is just created by the snap. He's clearly ready for the ball. It's just a high snap, goes off his fingertips. Like you said, a good job of getting it down, preserving the field goal opportunity for Jason Cunningham.
This will be a 47-yard attempt. Cunningham 8 of 10 on the season. Paluska will hold. Cunningham's got plenty of leg, and this one is no good. So the field goal attempt is no good. The Bobcats are turned away at 11:35 to go in the 3rd.
Well, don't they?
Oh. Great atmosphere here in Bozeman for this one. Montana State on defense now as South Dakota has it for the first time in the second half, trailing by 11. Noah Shepard, their quarterback, fakes now, looks across the middle, has a wide open Flanagan at the 50, and Flanagan down inside the 40. Jordan Craney saves the touchdown. But how about that on the first play? Shepard with a nice tight pass to Flanagan.
Well, this is working that intermediate passing game here. The one difference here is that usually the Bobcats so good at keeping the ball in front and making the tackle. That time, Michael Ryder's not able to do it, but he's saved by his fellow safety, Jordan Craney.
Gain is all the way down to the 36-yard line, so 1st and 10 for the Coyotes. Their first possession of the 3rd quarter, and Shepard wants a timeout. Didn't like what he saw, so he takes a timeout, the first of the second half. When we come back, the Coyotes with the football at the 36.
You probably know that Ashley Furniture is all over the country, but did you also know we are the #1 retailer and manufacturer of furniture in North America?
Their first possession of the second half. Shepard operates out of the gun, 4-receiver set. He's got Ganius in the backfield, now fires it out there, and that's complete to Flanagan. And Flanagan inside the 30 and close to another first down. They get Flanagan in some open space. Let's take a look. Let's go back and take a look at this field goal attempt by Jason Cunningham, and it was close.
Boy, it looked like it was very close from here. It looked like it actually hit the flag, and boy, I guess it actually did, just on the wrong side of the upright if you're a Montana State fan. If you're sitting home in Vermilion, that one looked just perfect.
Good call by the officials to get it right. 2nd and 1 from the 27. Could do a lot of things on 2nd and short. Here's Shepard. Flag comes down, and Shepard keeps the football. He's going to be close to the first down, but we'll see what the flag is.
I think they're going to catch right guard Brent Johnson for the hold on Dane Fletcher on that play. Not only did he hold him, but once he drug him to the ground, he was laying on top of him.
Holding, offense number 64. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Still second down.
Let's go down on the field and pick up Dave Griffiths.
Chris, I don't know if you remember this specifically, but last year when Montana State played South Dakota, I mentioned something about quarterback Noah Shepard having a baby with his then-girlfriend, Abby Johnson, before the season. Well, this year, the couple's still together. They still have the baby, of course. And I talked to Coach Ed Meyercourt about how it has changed Shepard over the years since he's had the kid, and he said he just gets more responsible like everybody else. Then asked me if I had a kid. I said no. He said, well, you wouldn't understand it then. So, Chris, maybe you would understand it.
Well, I certainly do understand, and I do remember the story. And Shepard calls his own number, and he's going to be very close to the first down. As he takes it down inside the 30, you just get the feeling, Mike, that this guy can pretty much do what he wants with the football. There's so many things he can do. Is shaking up Bobcat. I believe that's Gazzaro down on the field.
Yeah, you're right. He's grabbing that left ankle. Hopefully this isn't going to be anything too serious and that he is going to be able to pop up here and get out the field. Boy, you got a courageous effort for him to be out there to begin with today. They said that he had the severe flu. Wanted to start him, see how long he could go. He was out once, back in. Hopefully when we come back, he'll be moved to the sideline.
9:32 to go in the third. Chase Gazzaro shaken up on the play. South Dakota looking at a 3rd and 2 from the 28. 9:21 to go, third quarter. Shepard operates out of the gun. Keeps it himself up over the left side. And he is going to be stopped short of the first down. Whole host of Bobcats in on the stop there.
A little bit different look from these guys today. Is we're going to go back and look at Chase Gazzaro going down on the last play, see what happens here. He's there at the point of attack. Just looks like he rolls over that left ankle. We'll hope that's one that feels bad at first and kind of snaps back. But yeah, he did just twist that thing up. But the Bobcats were able to hold without him, and we've got a 4th and 1, and it looks like South Dakota is going to go.
Coyotes will go 4th and 1 from the 27. 70 yards rushing for Shepard already today. He's got Ganios in the backfield. Oh boy, what a huge mistake for South Dakota. Delay a game penalty, backs them up 5, and now what do you do?
Well, 4th and 6, I got to think that with what we've heard about their kicking nightmares this season, that they're probably going to still go for this. At this point in the game, the field goal is not going to do much for them anyway, so why not take a shot, at least get the first down, maybe even take a shot at the end zone here, Chris.
With this offense, I'm not so sure 4th and 6 isn't a better option than 4th and 1. They haven't been able to pick up the short yardage. Ball at the 42, Shepard surveys the field. Looks out here to Skelly, and that is incomplete, but a flag comes in, and that's going to be pass interference on Zach Coleman, who was back there in coverage, never turned around and looked for the ball.
No, that's one of those things as a defensive back. Coverage is pretty good. You've just got to turn your head. Otherwise, when that ball is thrown short, and that
Pass
receiver goes to
interference,
reach
defense,
back.
number 8, 15-yard penalty from the previous spot, automatic first down.
That is going to be the result. Let's take a look at it on the Northwest Energy replay here. You can see he's running with them pretty well, but just never does turn back. And when that ball is thrown short and the receiver makes a move for it, that play just looks horrible, and it's going to get called every single time.
And Coleman, just a freshman out of Cedar Hill, Texas. So the pass interference, of course, will give South Dakota the first down, and they'll mark the ball at the 17-yard line. So the Coyotes in great position here with just under 8 minutes to go in the third quarter. 4 receivers set for Shepard. Shepard pulls it down and met by Dane Fletcher right at the line of scrimmage, and the great Dane coming up with another big play.
Boy, I tell you, Dane Fletcher is there. He gets some help here on Michael Ryder, the safety. The Bobcats roll him up to the trip side here. He will come from the right side of your screen. Dane is there first, and Michael Ryder's there to help finish him off.
Michael Ryder's been shaken up a couple of times today, but he's back in there now. Loss of 1, 2nd and 11 from the 18. Ganios going nowhere. Harris, Fletcher in on the stop.
Dane Fletcher he plays with just a relentless motor. You see him, well, we got Fletchers all over 47 there. We got him on the field. He looks like I'll tell you, South Dakota feels like there's 2 or 3 of them out there right now too, because he plays hard. He never slows down. His pursuit is fantastic. You saw it there. He's coming from the backside. Just a great, great effort type player. 9
tackles today already for Fletcher. 3rd and 11 from the 18. Crowd on their feet, making some noise at Bobcat Stadium. Shepard now pumps, looks into the end zone, and this is caught for the touchdown. A beautiful pass and catch by Will Powell. Powell brings it down in the corner of the end zone. And again, Darius Jones was back there in coverage. Another one of those untested defensive backs, but what a pass by Shepard. Put it right on the numbers.
Well, they made the nice run fake inside. I don't know how much everybody bought on that, but he put that ball where it could only be caught by that receiver, and he was able to make a nice play there by Will Powell.
Novotny on for the extra point, and it's good. So with 6:36 to go in this one, back and forth we go as South Dakota climbs to within 4 at 21-17. Let's look at it again, and Mike, this is just a beautiful pass.
Yeah, he gives him the one pump fake inside. Then it's just trying to throw that ball over the top. Receiver Will Powell does a great job of not looking for that ball until the last second, which is, as a defensive back, you're watching his eyes, and when he doesn't look, that makes it very difficult for you to take a look. Here's Dane Fletcher, not able to get a rush upfield, makes a good inside move and was picked up on the tackle. Credit that O-line. If you can keep him out, you're doing a great job.
Well, he beat the initial point of attack, but then got picked up as he cut to the inside. And you're right, that offensive line was Coach Rob Ash now looking over that offensive set. Another 47.
They are
Fletcher's
everywhere today.
As a father of a son that played college football, there's nothing like it. It's so much fun on game day, and it's a few short years, and I know all the dads out there that have kids that play, whether it's high school or junior high or college or whatever. It sure is fun.
Well, I think it really is a treasured time, and that father-son relationship, seeing it, it's very fun from the other side too, when you can look up and see your folks up there in the stands every Saturday and supporting you, and it makes it a lot of fun.
Gilbert with some good hard running up over the 25 to the 27. Dave?
Well, Chris, a little bit of bad news on Chase Gazzaro. Couldn't get an official word from the Montana State trainers. Seems like they were ducking me over here on the sidelines, but he's, of course, suffering from the flu, as we've said already. He just looked beat, tired over here. He's sitting on the trainer's table right now, and about his ankle, it seems like that he rolled. I overheard him say that he heard a pop, so that can't be a good sign.
No, not at all. So Gazzaro hurting on a couple of fronts, and there he is. Not only battling the flu, but now the rolled ankle as well. That is painful.
Yeah, and it looked like you could see him pulling the tape on his gloves. It looks like he is most likely done for the day.
The South Dakota team scores a lot of points. They give up a lot of points. We thought this might be a shootout today. And that draw play going nowhere.
Yeah, they have just not gone away. The coach pointed out in the halftime interview, Coach Meyercourt said, hey, we were down, we hung in there, we got back in it, and that seems to be the scenario that keeps repeating itself here. Montana State has not been able to put them away.
Well, I know they would love to have that opportunity late in the game to have a chance to go ahead and take the lead. I mean, that's clearly where they're positioning themselves for, as Kemp flips it out there to Gilbert's got blockers in front of him, and Gilbert's still on his feet in a first down. And that play designed beautifully as they got those big fellas out front. Conrad Burbank gets out there in open space and makes a nice block.
All the big boys, and if you are Everett Gilbert, you're going to want to turn up field and see this. Leo Davis, the whole bunch. Burbank, you got three of those big boys out in front of you. That's great, and a lot of space. He's able to take advantage of it and pick up nearly first down yardage for the Bobcats.
Give him 9 on the play, 3rd and 1. Palmer in the lineup, hit right at the line of scrimmage. Now he falls forward, and I don't know if he's there. This is going to be very close. But that could be short of the first down.
Yeah, it's difficult to tell from the spot yet. They are going to bring the chains in, but I think we are looking at another situation where the Bobcats are going to be just a little bit short, which makes a real interesting decision when you're on your own, 37-yard line at this point in the game. Do you go for this and try and pick it up, or do you let your conference leading punter try and regain some of that field position for you?
Oh, you got to kick it away. Got to kick it on 4th down.
It's only 6 inches, Chris. Do you have to kick it?
Yeah, I think you do. You get stopped here at the 37, and you're giving South Dakota a very short field to take the lead. I think you got to punt it away. We'll see, though.
No, I do agree with you. I think the punt is the right call, but I don't think that Coach Ash agrees with us up here, so they are going to go, or at least they're going to line up that way.
Maybe line up like they are. So Kemp gets it to Palmer, and Palmer slips to the outside, and he's got just enough for the first down.
Well, I think we're going to call that a boy. Now we know that Coach Ash does not value our opinion up here in the box. We know why we haven't got the headsets down to the field, but hey, that's a huge play for the Bobcats, and here we see it. Palmer they're going to give it to him. He's got a little lead block there. Not really much inside, but he's able to pop it outside, get more than enough for the first down, and the Bobcats retain possession and keep this drive moving.
Ball at the 38 on first down. Kemp gives it to Beckstead. Beckstead takes it to the 40, picks up a couple on the play. Well, that was a gutsy call. It's your own 37 on a 4th and 1. But I think in the long run for Coach Ash, wanting to keep the momentum on the offensive side of the football for Montana State, trying to answer South Dakota. And this could be one of those games too, Mike, where it's whoever has the ball, you score, I score type of game. And clearly he wanted to keep the football, and it worked. So 2nd and 8 from the 40. Kemp gets pressure from the outside, steps up, fires, intended for Gilbert and incomplete. Some good pressure coming from the outside from Ryan Ralph, the linebacker out of Sioux Falls, South Dakota. That forced Cody to step up in the pocket and missed Gilbert over the middle.
South Dakota, and you can feel this is something that teams have done to MSU as the games have gone on, and particularly in the second half this year, starting to have a difficult time getting pressure, so they start bringing those linebackers, and so far this season the teams have had success getting the pressure when they do bring that, but that time you did have the open receiver. They just not been able to hook up on that completion.
South Dakota coming with the blitz there.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense number 72, 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
That's going to bring up 3rd and 13 on the 5-yard penalty with the ball at the 40-yard line. Now to the 35. Check that after the penalty.
Well, you get the impression that O-line is just a little bit confused now that South Dakota has gone to that blitz package, but with their experience, look for them to steady up here and give him some protection, at least give him a shot downfield on this long 3rd.
Well, they run that base 3-4, but they send 7 straight up the middle. Kemp just flips it out there, and he is hammered inside the 15. And seeing a real aggressive blitz package that time for South Dakota as they put all kinds of pressure straight up the middle on Cody. All he can do is throw it away.
Yeah, that time they came, it was Alfonso Valdez came from the corner position up inside it, and just no time for Cody Kemp to even look downfield. He tried to maybe flip it out to Beckstead, but he was actually balled up inside trying to get in pass protection.
4th and 13 from the 35, so Fisher set to kick it away. Just gets it away. The ball hits at the 20 and then rolls out of bounds inside the 10-yard line. So a great roll for Montana State as the ball hit at the 20 and then goes out of bounds at the 10-yard line.
Well, we've talked about Fisher being a great weapon back there, and he led the Big Sky last year in pins inside the 20, and he's got a great start of staying with that title for this year. I'm not sure the number, but he's been very successful. Boy, we're talking that we got 39s and 47s all over the place.
All over the field today. First down for South Dakota. Get the feeling that the Coyotes kind of taking this game over a little bit in the third quarter. Montana State going to look for a stop here as Shepard hands it off to Ganius. Ganius breaks a tackle to the 15, close to the 20-yard line, and that's close to a first down. So a quick 9-yard gain for South Dakota.
Well, you're right, Chris. You get the feeling that in this third quarter, it has been South Dakota that's making the plays so far. And there you see one of them with Ganius able to sort of get stuffed up inside, but with his quickness, able to break it to the outside, pick up 9.5 yards to give them a very short 2nd and 1.
2nd and 1 from the 19. Winding down to 3:30 to go in the third. Here's Shepard, pulls it down now, flips it out and just throws it out of bounds. That play read beautifully by John Ledette, who put pressure on Shepard, and Shepard had no choice but to throw it away.
Well, yeah, tries to throw it away. He was looking for number 84, London Landry, but 44 for the Bobcats, Matt Harris, was step for step with him out in that outside the number area. There was just no open receivers. Good team effort by the Bobcat defense to bring up the short 3rd and 1.
Crowd again on their feet. 3rd and 1 from the 19. Shepard out of the gun. Looks out to his left. Now he's going to run. Has the first down. Taken down by Ledette and Ogden. But more than enough for the first down as he gets to the 25-yard line. You know, you expect your quarterback to line up under center on a 3rd and 1. They're way more effective when he operates out of the shotgun on 3rd and short.
Well, I think when you've got a quarterback like this who can run the ball so well, it helps to get him a little bit off the line so he can have that vision to read the defense, find his running lane, and be able to turn the ball upfield very effectively.
First down from the 25. So more operating room for South Dakota now on this drive. Shepard fires across the middle, a broken play, falls incomplete. Nowotny was in the area, but he broke to the outside. The throw was to the inside in the middle of the field. Incomplete pass.
Well, I think the Bobcats took a little play out of the South Dakota playbook there. They've seen the pressure that they've been able to bring with their linebacker blitzes. Here we'll see Jody Owens come from the outside on the linebacker blitz, and you didn't quite see the hit there, but as Shepard released the ball, he took a big shot, big shot from Owens.
2nd down and 10 from the 25. Now they run a little option, and Ganios nowhere. No gain on the play. Well, you see the Bobcats on defense standing around, hands on hips. I think they got to be gas chasing Shepard around all afternoon.
They do look tired, but great job. A very disciplined approach on this one. Dan Ogden is there. They run the little short option into the sideline. They've got Ogden on the quarterback, Ledette on the pitch. They had that thing covered every way possible.
3rd and 10 from the 25. Shepard goes with the 4-receiver set. 2 split to the right, 2 to the left. With Toriano. Here he comes on the corner blitz. They flip it out there and complete to Skelly. But Skelly's going nowhere. Well, they pick up maybe 1 on the play. So 4th down.
Geez, credit Michael Ryder on this play because the Bobcats are coming with the corner blitz. Kevin Rettoriano is on the bottom. He came on the blitz. They flipped it out into the perfect spot where he had vacated, but just a great job by the safety, Michael Ryder, coming up and making the open field tackle to stop this drive and force South Dakota into kicking it away.
Zwiefelhofer kicks it from the 15. Deshaun Thomas will field it at the 30. Thomas steps up inside, still on his feet to the 35. And Deshaun Thomas brings it back to the 35 in good field position for Montana State. Well, a good defensive stand for the Bobcats there as they force the Coyotes to punt the ball, and it comes with 1:40 to go in the third. Montana State leading 21-17.
I think that was a key that they were able to stop there. Chris, you pointed out that the Bobcat defense looked a little tired. They did. After you said it, we saw the big boy, number 90, he's tapping the hat. He needed to get out for a breather. So to get that defense off the field, whether you have some success offensively or not, I think getting the defense to the sideline was very important.
Bobcats give it to Gilbert. Coyote defense does a great job in stretching the play, and Gilbert nowhere to go. Will bring up 2nd and 11, a loss of 1. You know, this Coyote defense, we talked about that they do give up a lot of yards, a lot of plays, but in this second half, they've tightened it down a little bit.
Yeah, they really have. They have stepped it up quite a bit. The Bobcats would, really need to get something going here. It would be a great time to have some success, move the chains a couple times, and let that defense rest before we move into the fourth quarter.
Yeah, Gilbert with the catch at the 40-yard line, and he's absolutely rocked by Shane Potter, the sophomore linebacker out of Becker, Minnesota. Gain of 5.
When you take a look at this South Dakota defense, they have got some hitters in that secondary. They're constantly driving up and have made some really good pops here, and you can see it there. They're just a great job of driving up and finishing the tackle.
3rd and 5 from the 40. Gilbert 3 catches for 32 yards and a touchdown. Here's Kemp, flips it out there in the flat, and no catch. Elvis Akpla got it, but they say he trapped it, and that's going to bring up 4th down, and on comes the punting unit.
Well, a good job of Kemp getting this ball out. South Dakota brings 5 up front. He's able to get the ball out, and this is very close. It looked like a catch live to me, and boy, very difficult to tell from that angle, but I think Elvis did a great job of getting his hands underneath that. Very likely may have been a catch.
Well, he thought he had it. Here's Fisher now, end over end kick, and this is going to hit, or rather fielded by Flanagan at the 12, and Flanagan dancing his way up to the 20. So South Dakota now goes back to work on offense, trailing by 4, very much in this game, in a great position as we get set to play the fourth quarter.
Well, it's just going back and forth right now, just a little bit of, we've seen both teams get some stops here. We've seen more punts in the second half already in just the third quarter than we did the whole first half, where each team only punted the ball 1 time. So it'll be important for the Bobcats to try and get another stop here to start the fourth quarter.
1st down. Bobcats show pressure off the edge. They got it read right. Now let's see what happens. Gainius, gain of 9 to the 29. It looked like Montana State had that perfectly read, but Gainius comes up with a nice run, gain of 9. When we come back, South Dakota with a 2nd and 1 to start the fourth quarter. Back for the fourth quarter of today's game, and South Dakota with a 2nd and 1 from the 29. Shepard now up under center, and they'll give it to Gainius in a 1st down. Up over the 30. Well, during the timeout, Kevin Rettoriano and South Dakota head coach Ed Meyercourt having a nice little discussion. I'm not sure what they were talking about, but Meyercourt kind of chuckled when he walked away, so he must have enjoyed it.
Just looked like a couple of guys just hanging out and chewing the fat. Yeah, that was interesting. I'm sure he wasn't giving Rettoriano any tips on where they're going offensively here. But
yeah, so Coach, where are we going on this next play? 1st down from the 32. Shepherd has 4 receivers. Now it feels pressure from Dane Fletcher, rolls out of that. Bignell chasing and throws it away. So Fletcher chased him, Bignell chased him. Good coverage in the secondary, and Shepherd has to get rid of it.
Yeah, just a great team defense there. They got the pressure, but as Shepherd broke to the sideline there and rolled out, his receiver actually turned upfield and was open for a minute, and then the corner for the Bobcats was able to close that thing down, force him to just throw it into the stands.
2nd and 10 from the 32. There you see the numbers on Shepherd. 172 yards passing today, but still well below his average. Here comes Ryder off the corner. The blitz, they beat it with the pass to Flanagan. And Flanagan is close to the first down, and I think maybe he's got it. So Ryder came off the corner. They went right to his spot with the catch.
Just a great job here. They get it out in space. They had the right play on for the call. Even the Bobcats are able to close, but just not in time to keep them short of the first down.
So that moves the chains once again up to the 42. And another first down. Well, the Bobcats have played in cooler weather the last couple of weeks, and I got to believe that as warm as it is today, and as much time as the defense has been on the field, they're really feeling it here in the 4th.
Well, on the field almost 18 minutes that first half, and it seems like they've barely been off of it the second half. So, yeah, those guys are going to wear down.
Run a little sprint option out to the right. Nice job by Cosmipico for Montana State to read that. Came in nicely, forced Shepherd to pitch it.
Yeah, the Bobcat defense has played that play very effectively today. There just really hasn't been a whole lot there for South Dakota, but they're continuing to go to it, and really, you know, it's a 4-yard gain, but on first down, it does bring up a very manageable 2nd, 7, 2nd, and 6 on each of those opportunities.
Well, you take that every time, right? 4 yards on first down, 2nd and 6. Clock continues to run, 13:30 to go in the 4th. Ball at the 46, Shepherd under center, now pulls it back. Looking, fires right, and incomplete. Great coverage by Ritoriano from the corner position, and an incomplete pass will bring up 3rd down.
Yeah, with all the injuries in the secondary and the guys that the Bobcats have got out there, the young corners, guys playing out of position. Kevin Ritoriano is a player of the year at safety position last year, forced out the corner. If I'm South Dakota, he's not the guy that I'm trying to pick up or pick on in those one-on-one matchups. I think I'm trying to test some of these other young corners that the Bobcats have been forced to play today.
Well, you have to be extremely athletic to make that transition from safety to corner, because it is a far different position. Here's Shepherd now. They work the screen to Ganius, and Ganius is going to get another first down. And a late flag comes in.
I think that's going to be a block in the back by number 60 from South Dakota. That's going to be Luke Nordquist, I believe, right at the end of the run. Probably a block he did not need to throw in order for South Dakota to pick up the first down.
Now this would be big for the Bobcats if it is against South Dakota, because Ganius did have the first down.
Yeah, he did, and I think he would have.
On the offense, number 11, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Replay, 3rd down.
Goes against Dan Skelly.
Yeah, let's look for it. I obviously had the wrong guy. We're going to talk about if they're going to have a hold. This is obviously going to be on the outside and probably did have an effect. Yeah, absolutely. Yep. You can see the hold on the corner there, and yeah, that is going to affect the play. That was a huge advantage by keeping the corner deep. Probably wouldn't have got the first down. Good call. Fortunate outcome for Montana State.
Brings up 3rd and 10 from the 42. And the Coyotes again will go to a 4-receiver set on 3rd down. Shepherd looks across the middle, fires, and has a man open at the 40. And that is Nowotny inside the 35. Now the ball pops loose. Bobcats say they have it.
Well, the South Dakota coaches are screaming to our right that he was down, and it looks like the referee is going to agree with them and give the first down to South Dakota. Let's take a look at our Northwestern Energy replay here. You see, great throw, throws a strike over the middle. He's moving forward. When does the ball come out? Boy, very difficult to tell from that angle.
Yeah, you can't ball in front of him, but they give him the catch, and it's a first down to the 33-yard line. South Dakota with the football, trailing by 4. Craney looks to blitz off the corner. Shepard, all kinds of time. Flanagan drops it at the 20. Flanagan all alone at the 20, unable to come down with it, brings up second down.
Boy, good job on South Dakota's blitz pickup package there. The back Granius is able to chip the blitzing linebacker at the point of attack, create the opportunity. Unfortunately for South Dakota, Flanagan just not able to come down with that one.
You know, and how good is those Dakota schools going to be when they get established in this FCS? You look at this team, South Dakota State, nationally ranked North Dakota State, North Dakota. Great programs coming into the FCS. Second and 10 from the 33.
I'm amazed as you look through their roster, just their recruiting area is huge. They've got 7, 8 players from Florida, a bunch of guys from California. They've probably got 10 states represented on this roster today. They go down in Texas, they're in Colorado. So you wonder as they move up, if they can maintain that kind of a recruiting base, they're going to be very competitive in the FCS.
Great open field tackle by Owens on the last play to stop Shepard for a short gain. 3rd and 9. Here we go again, Mike. Another 3rd down.
Boy, they've picked up a bunch of nice conversions on 3rd down on this drive. The Bobcats have got to try and stop. They just need one big stop to turn this thing south.
Vittoriano comes with the blitz off the corner. They throw back to his spot, but nothing doing. Boy, what a great job by Michael Ryder to take down Dan Skelly. Vittoriano came off the blitz. They went over the top to Skelly. And Ryder steps up and makes a great open field tackle.
Boy, again he does. He's out there on an island by himself. The Bobcats bring everybody from this side. He is just one-on-one with this receiver. Does have a safety over the top, but a great one-on-one tackle. It's 4th and 11 now, and it looks like they're going to bring out the punter.
Zwiefelhofer in to kick. And now he moves up. He's at the 40-yard line. Looks like he's got a little quick kick formation here, and now they take a time. What are they? Well, they're going to take a delay of game. That's exactly what they do. Give him a little more room.
Yeah, I'm not really sure if they were trying to accomplish anything more than just get that 5 yards, because if they do get the offsides penalty, it clearly doesn't help them with their kicking problems. They're surely not in field goal range at that distance. So back him up, get him a little more room. The Bobcats bring in their punt return unit where they had their defensive unit in before.
Well, I think you're right. I think he just wanted a little more room. So the ball at the 40 now. He'll try to angle it to the corner and just shanks it off his foot.
Well, he angled it pretty heavy on that one. That is going to be a very, very short punt. Bobcats will have great field position when we come back.
After the 10-yard punt, Montana State gets great field position from the 30. Let's update you on what's going on with other scores. Oh, how about this one in Missoula, Montana, and Eastern Washington, all tied up at 27. So they got a Donnybrook going at Washington Grizz. The Grizzlies still undefeated, ranked number 3 in the nation, taking on a very good Eastern Washington team. First down for the Bobcats. Fake the reverse. Now Kemp is hit, and this one almost intercepted. And Akpla going down the middle. They were going deep to Akpla. Incomplete pass. Dave?
Odd thing to have a non-conference opponent in the middle of your conference season like Montana State has with South Dakota this week, but I'll explain a little bit how it happened. Originally, the Big Sky scheduled this date for the Cat Grizz game, but of course both schools always move that to the end of their season, so Montana State had a bye week that they wanted, tried to get 3 teams in the first 3 weeks of the season, couldn't do that, so Rob Ash called it a marriage of convenience today, getting South Dakota to come.
Thank you, Dave, and Julius Lloyd with the catch. He's going to pick up 8, 2 yards short of the first down. I want to thank the Bobcat Quarterback Club for taking care of the Max Media crew today. Got them all fed and full. Told that they had burgers and brats this afternoon. It's a good meal for football, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. We're sitting in the wrong spot. We got to get out there at the crew. Nobody brought any plates to you, did they?
No, but if you're going to go brats, you got to go Johnsonville. So I'm sure that's what they had. Bobcats take a timeout. And that is their first of the second half. 10-10 to go in the fourth. Montana State leads by 4. Montana State looking at a 3rd and 3 from the 37, leading by 4 in the fourth. Out of the timeout, let's see what Montana State comes with. Cody Kemp has gone all the way in relief of Mark Iddens today. Kemp flips the screen out to Beckstead, and Beckstead is hit and will not get there, not even close. May have lost a half yard on the play. 4th down, and out comes Eric Fisher.
No, I don't think anybody was fooled on that play. They tried to get Beckstead out in the flat. Cody Kemp tried to hold those linebackers with his eyes for a couple of counts to create that space out there, but they just went hard to the outside, and there was nothing for Beckstead on it after the catch.
Fisher stands just inside his 25. Flanagan back to receive. Good snap, and Fisher just hammers this kick. Flanagan calls for the catch at the 13, loses it for a moment, but then able to pounce on it. Boy, that would have been big. Good job down there for Montana State. That's Ricky Evans, the backup running back. Upset with himself because thought he might have had a chance.
Well, he did have a little bit of opportunity. I thought the receiver did a good job of getting that ball back when he after he did initially fumble it. But I'll tell you what, how huge is Fisher? Not only does he get the big punt, but he's got the hang time on it to force the fair catch and no return.
Well, field position so critical in a game like this, and look what he does for the Bobcat defense. 1st and 10 from the 13. And Shepard now tries to get to the outside and does, but a short gain on the play. Good contain that time by the Bobcat defense. Zach Coleman out there to run him out of bounds.
Well, he was able to get, what did he get, 4 on that?
4.
But I'll tell you, the way that guy runs the ball, you are far better if you can force him to the sidelines here. Watch the speed on this play. When he does get outside, he's got Jody Owens out there, Bobcat linebacker, that breaks off that tackle, but he flat gets outrun by the quarterback, Noah Shepard.
He has run for 126 yards today. Shepard now fires it out for Skelly, who drops it at the 22. Well, how good would Noah Shepard be in a Wildcat offense? You can see this guy. You can see this guy doing an awful lot of things. I mean, clearly he runs the football as well as most running backs, and then he's got that nice arm and can beat you in a lot of ways.
Well, you may want to keep that quiet here until we get through this 4th quarter. I don't think that South Dakota offense needs a lot of help right now. They have been very effective today, and particularly Noah Shepard.
3rd and 6. Once again, crowd on their feet here at Bobcat Stadium. They know how big this play is. Every possession counts right now. Shepard to Skelly, no. And again, good coverage by Coleman. So Coleman kind of atoning for himself.
He is, and those guys have got to step up. The Bobcats line up 10 guys on the line of scrimmage. They are in man coverage all the way across. One-on-one out here to Coleman. He is there, breaks it up. The Bobcats have got to get more of that where they are making the hit upon the delivery of the ball. We've been a little bit late getting to those throws, but not that time. Great effort by the Bobcat defense. They get a 3 and out, and they get a chance to get this ball back.
Boy, and how big is the field position now when you think about Eric Fisher and what he's done today? They'll get excellent field position off of this. Deshaun Thomas fields it at the 35, avoids one tackle up over the 40. Thomas still on his feet and brought down. And he's one tackle away from a big return. 9 minutes even to go in the 4th. Cats by 4.
Let's see. You want to make your home more energy efficient, right? So let's put extra insulation in the attic. Maybe add a programmable thermostat. You could install a new high-efficiency natural gas furnace or water heater, like so. Now, let's add some insulation where it really counts, in your wallet. With Northwestern Energy's E+ natural gas savings for the home program, you can earn a sizable rebate.
1st and 10 from the 40. Palmer with some running room to midfield and then some. Inside the 45 to the 41. And C.J. Palmer picked up pretty good time to rip off a huge run for the Bobcats.
Boy, Jeff Hansen, give him some credit on this. The senior co-captain, 76, pulls out in front. You can't see it on the replay, but C.J. Palmer smart enough to get right on the rear end of the big boy and just follow him down the field.
Bobcats would love to put together a good sustained drive here, but that time nothing doing as Palmer is met in the backfield. Great tackle by Ryan Ruth, the linebacker out of Sioux Falls. Loss on the play.
Well, Ryan Ruth is a guy who's had success as this defense on tackles for loss. This is his 6th one of the season. Just comes upfield hard. Nothing there for the Bobcat offense.
Loss of 3, 2nd and 13 from the 44. Palmer in the backfield. And CJ gets the call, now steps up inside, breaks a tackle, and down to the 37. So it didn't look like there was anything there, but then Palmer stepped up inside and got positive yards.
Well, we talked about in the open that he would have to expand his role today. And you can see him, he's a short yardage guy, but he's shown some moves today. And he makes a nice cut inside there to create the space, gets up inside. If he could have slipped that block, there was a great block upfield by Elvis Akblot that would have freed him to get a shot at that end zone.
3rd and 6 from the 37. Schreibeis, the tight end, in the backfield, and that's who they go to, and Schreibeis makes the catch, but well short of the first down. In fact, doesn't get anything on the play.
Yeah, the ball thrown just a little bit short. I think if that's one that's upfield a little bit further, he'll get an opportunity to turn his shoulders here. You see he comes out, he's turning flat. If that ball is something that he can keep and catch on the run, he probably gets a chance to turn upfield and get a shot at that first down.
Well, you're in that in-between area now where too close to punt, too far for the field goal, so the Cats will go. 4th and 5 from the 36. Huge play with 6:55 to go in the 4th. Oh, that's going to be a false start, and well, that is a drive killer right there.
Yeah, that's a breaker. I think they're going to get...
Snap, false start, offense number 72, 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
Now we're going to see Eric Fisher, and this is where the kicker earns his paycheck, right? Because Eric will try to pin South Dakota deep inside their own end.
Well, there's been nobody better at doing just that than Eric Fisher the last 2 years in the Big Sky Conference. So, again, he's made a couple of big punts for him the last 2 drives, and they're going to rely on him again to try and bottle up and pin this South Dakota defense or offense deep in their own territory.
And this one is going to hit inside the 5. Oh, boy, they had it set up perfectly as Fisher dropped it inside the 5, and standing between the ball and the end zone was Ricky Evans. But he just wasn't able to come up with it. Took a high bounce and into the end zone.
Yeah, Ricky Evans was turned around. He looked like a shortstop who got a bad hop there in the infield. That ball just went over the top of him, took off, did not have a chance to make a play, but was in position to do. They did exactly what you're taught to do on that short kick. Get down the field, get behind the ball, turn around, and you know you're allowed to catch that ball in the air if you'd like, but that time just got a tough hop.
So after a high-scoring first half, all we have in the second half right now is a South Dakota touchdown, and they have the football. Ganius gets the call, met at the line of scrimmage, give him 2 on the play. 2nd and 8. Coyotes came out, scored in the 3rd, and they've kept Montana State off the scoreboard here in the second half.
Yeah, they've done a great job defensively. Offensively, they've moved the ball pretty well also, but they've yet to been able to get this thing down in the 4th quarter, get it moving. But Montana State defense has stiffened a little bit, and they're going to need to do the same here and keep this offense bottled up on their own end of the field.
2nd and 8. Now they fake the pass. Oh, nothing doing there, and I believe that was Harris. Harrison on the stop. Didn't buy it for a moment that Shepard was going to throw the football, and then makes a great play. And again, Harris coming in a backup role today. He's played a great game.
Yeah, he really has. They try and get the pump fake out here. They come underneath, but look at that. He's got one guy. That lineman is still on him. He's able to keep the one hand free, get it out on Ganius, and make the big stop for MSU.
3rd and 12 from the 18. Huge play now for the Bobcat defense. Bignell surveys the line. Here they come off the corner again. Shepard gets it away. That's caught. And Flanagan is going to get just enough for the first down.
It looks like he is, boy. We've seen a lot of great plays out of Shepard today, and this is one where he got rid of the ball just in time to avoid the big hit by Cosme Pecco right in his face. But now Harris has made a couple of great plays, but we've got him down on the field. It looks like he's grabbing at that right shoulder.
Yep.
Here it is. You can see the pressure is coming from the outside. The ball gets out just in time over the middle. The receiver's there, makes a catch. Nice hit by Harris. You can see the contact is directly on the top of that right shoulder. Watch this hit on the quarterback here. Boom. Cosme Pecco is coming, but again, Shepard's been very impressive getting the ball out today.
Well, the Bobcats starting to look like a mash unit over there today. They look like they might have got a stinger on the shoulder maybe, or...
Yeah, interesting to see, you know, where they go now with the backer. Matt Harris is in there for the already injured Chase Gazzaro, who is out of the game. It looks like they're going to bring in the number 59. That'll be Tanner Ripley that's going to replace Matt Harris.
First down from the 31. Time definitely a factor now. 5 minutes to go and counting in the fourth. Shepard, straight drop, flips it out there, and that's complete. Catch by the tight end, London Landry. Haven't called his name much today. He's a big guy.
Yes, he is. Look at this. It doesn't take Tanner Ripley long to get in the play here. He's in for one play, and he teams up with Kevin Vittoriano on this spot. Nice job. Kevin Vittoriano's got the outside. Ripley able to come from the inside. Short gain for South Dakota.
2nd and 6 from the 35. Ganios got a hole and a first down. Boy, he is quick. Just shoots through that hole, and for a game that's deep into the fourth quarter, he's still got plenty of zip in those legs. And now, Mike, we're really starting, you know, clock is becoming a big issue now.
Yeah,
this
here,
drive
look
is
at
a
the
big
hole
issue.
that they open. They get a couple of nice down blocks, and there's just a huge hole there. And as you said, with his quick feet, there's more than enough room for him to get that upfield.
So many backup players in the lineup for Montana State defensively right now due to the injuries. 1st and 10 from the 44. Fletcher coming off the corner. They go the other way to Novotny, and he's going to spin away and pick up a couple. Not much there. Now, South Dakota has used one of its timeouts already, so really this is the drive for them. Trailing by 4, they need a touchdown.
Well, they seem to, you know, thus far, as the clock is winding down, they seem very comfortable. You don't have any sense of panic on their part. They're systematically trying to go at this defense. They're willing to take the short 2, 3, 4 yards on first down and just sort of try and slowly move this ball up the field.
Shepard looks across the middle, has a man open, and Flanagan with the catch at the 30. Flanagan to the 10. 5, touchdown Flanagan. What a job after the catch by Flanagan as he takes the pass from Shepard from the 48-yard line into the end zone for the go-ahead touchdown.
Well, Chris, you talked about them being able to score on any play. This play, watch Clay Bignell. He's back, and if we can see him, he just was right underneath that, but unfortunately he had his shoulders turned and wasn't able to make an aggressive play on the ball. Again, one of those situations where Coach Ash has talked about where the drops of those backers and the safeties are not quite meshing together.
Novotny in for the extra point, and there's a whistle before. This is a big extra point because South Dakota leads by 2.
Well, I think that's going to be a false start.
Illegal snap. Center, number 62. 5-yard penalty. Replay the try.
Well, you've got to have the extra point if you're South Dakota because Jason Cunningham can beat you from long range.
Right, and if you're a South Dakota fan, you don't have a very long memory to have a real kind of sick feeling in your stomach right now going, geez, are we going to put another game in jeopardy 2 consecutive weeks because of problems with this something that seems as simple as a point after touchdown?
Well, they've had all kinds of kicking problems. And Novotny, of course, their wide receiver, gets this one down and nicely done. So 3:19 to go in the fourth. South Dakota has outscored the Bobcats 14-0 here in the second half. 14 unanswered points for South Dakota, and just like that, the Coyotes have the lead 23-21 here in Bozeman as Montana State all of a sudden find themselves behind with 3:19 to go in the fourth quarter. Now, if you're the Bobcats, field goal will tie it, touchdown could win it, but you've got 3:19 on the clock and 2 timeouts remaining, so plenty of time. 7 plays, 80 yards for the Coyotes as they kick it away. This one will come down to Gilbert at the 5. Gilbert up over the 20. Gilbert to the 30. So Montana State with good field position. And let's go back and take a look at that touchdown that gave the Coyotes the lead.
Well, let's see it. You can see Bignell here is going to be in the middle of the field, just off the outside hash there. And as he drops it, I believe he just gets his shoulder turn as he. Well, we've got Harris. Should see Bignell right there. You can see he tried to make a play on the ball, but he was just a little bit twisted, wasn't square in his drop, and allowed the receiver to just clear behind him.
Flanagan's just a freshman out of Colorado, so here come the Bobcats. This is Ricky Evans, and Evans showing some good moves up to the 38-yard line. Gain of 8, 2nd and 2. Well, we know one thing for sure. Evans, very little experience as the freshman, but we know he's got a motor and he can run fast.
Yeah, you can see they're going to try and make a decision to go with the speed here.
Boy, great blocks to the outside.